In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. What's going on? NPC the game live. Special early day edition with one of the most prolific creators in the panelverse. One of my favorite researchers, and actually, I'll say it, my best friend streaming. Legendary London man in the house. What's going on, London man?
Hey, what's poppin'? How we doing, my man?
It's good. Lay low.
Lay low.
Lay
Yes, sir.
low, man. Man. So we got this great topic. We got the great folks in the chat already popping it off. Today's broadcast is the anatomy of the eyes. The art of seeing. Art of seeing, volume 1. Yeah.
That's it.
And that's why we had to have London man. You got me motivated to go into depth about the eyes. You know? Yeah.
Oh yes,
So
the eyes see all.
the eyes see all, definitely. Yeah. Who do we see in the chat too? We see Bex. Shout out to Bex. Good to see you, Bex. The craziest mama. Craziest mama. What's up, crazy mama? Always a pleasure. Dino out there in New Zealand. Good to see you. How goes it? We got what say Lou? Yeah, that's a legend, a chat MVP, and panel legend too. We got what else we got? Look Within, the hardest working man in the metaverse. Always a pleasure. Day one shooter. We have I Want T. Yeah, that song's great. Have you heard that song before? Eye in the Sky by the Alan Parsons project.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
familiar with one.
yeah. I think Alan Parsons was a big contributor to Pink Floyd. So, and then that song "Eye in the Sky," like I always heard it growing up, but then I saw my friend who makes synchronistic videos, Steve Wilner, aka Soundless Dawn. He did a video and he used that, and it just made me think about it's kind of like a Masonic reference, huh? The eye in the sky, looking at you. I can
Yeah.
read your mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, everyone in the chat, Captain cries a lot. Good to see you. The Pixel T. Yeah, so let's get it popping. Hey, first of all, yeah, it's been a minute, man. Since, like we were talking a little bit about the panelverse, and so what is your thoughts on this new year in the panelverse? It's real quick. Is it going places that you never thought it would go, or is it staying the same? What do you think's going on?
Same old. It's 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 built for this to stay in one place. It's built to cycle. Built to
Yeah.
cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is that a good thing? It is what it is, right?
it's what it is. It's what you make of it, really.
Yeah.
Can't judge people. It's what they make of the cycle.
Hmm. Yeah. Exactly. It's what you make of it. Yeah. And with that said, I want to play a little bit of this Aldous Huxley. As we get started, since it's called the Anatomy of the Eyes. No, let's go to the eyes right away. Let's check out the structure of the eyes. You down for that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Let's show this video first, and then we'll see the other one. How they work. Yeah, I like this one better.
Shout out to the chat room. Much love.
Chat, much love. Much love to the chat. Let's see how this shit one.
Eyes are one of nature's most fascinating creations. In this animation, we show an incredibly complex organ in a very simple way. The eyes are an important sensory organ for us, which serves to perceive light stimuli from the environment. As the eyes are soft and vulnerable, they are well protected in the hard skull. The eye sockets in which the eyes are located are lined with orbital fat, so that the eyeball, muscles, blood vessels, and other tissue are gently embedded in the skull. The cheekbone.
Okay, we're gonna be doing this in a minute if you don't mind, London, because my whole motivation for knowing about the anatomy, because I want to overlay it with your research too, which you've gone over some of this stuff too. Like when you look at this right here, and you see the eye, what comes to mind in terms of the Earth and the Moon? Is there any resonance?
When I look at this, I see home, right? You know, as above, so below, as we've been speaking about, like micro to the macro,
Right.
not separated from it. It's very inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I see when I look at the anatomy.
Right. Right. So
It's
you
like
have this
looking at a
eye.
mirror.
It is looking at the mirror, huh? You have this eye. This is like the eye. Now there's a lot. If you can think about it, there's quite a lot of space in between in the sockets, huh?
Oh
Right.
yeah,
It's kind of like cushion. Like if you were, if you brought some bottles of beer or wine or jam in your grocery bag, you would put like some type of padding or something, right, to buffer it, because it's very fragile. Yeah.
but you know what as well? They said something that caught my attention.
Hmm.
The fat of the socket. Something was it?
The fat around the socket. Yeah.
Yeah, that
There's fat around that. Yeah.
that remind me of what's their names again? Prodigy, fat of the land, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
The fat of
quality,
the land.
quality. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
land.
Captain Chrysler, go ahead and pop a Molly for this one. Yeah. We approve. Yeah. He said one socket square, the other round, shows sound of Down syndrome. Wow, I didn't know that. One square, one's round. Okay. Um, but yeah, but
Interesting.
London, because it's true. Because now it makes sense when someone's like on meth, like some of the people in the Panelverse, right, or scared, don't eat much. Their face gets to be like a skeleton, right? And and normally you know when someone's emaciated because their eye sockets, all right. You can really see their eye sockets because normally you can't because there's fat around there, huh? I didn't even realize that. Usually there's fat around there.
Fat of
Yeah,
the land.
the fat of the land. I like that. The fat of the land. Yeah. Then that's most of the land. The
Frontal
fat.
bone and other bones form the boundary of the eye socket, which is also known as the orbit. A large number of important pathways reach the eye socket through two orbital fissures. The optic nerve and the ophthalmic artery run through the optic canal. The eye has muscles on the sides that we can consciously control. With the help of these muscles, the eye can be moved. A ring of fibrous tissue is the origin of all muscles except the lower oblique muscle.
Origin.
The interaction of the
Okay, this goes along with the video that you have, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take it back a few seconds, please.
Okay.
all muscles except the lower oblique muscle. The interaction of these muscles is incredibly complex, which is why we will go into it in more detail later.
That felt good.
I think you should have went
A
just a
little bit
bit more.
farther.
Yeah, there you go.
A ring of fibrous tissue is the origin of all muscles except the lower oblique muscle.
Superior rectus.
Mm-hmm.
Superior rectus. Superior.
Tissue is the origin.
Yeah. Superior rectus, huh? This is the muscle. This is how we control our eye, right?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
dominant one.
It's super thick.
Origin of all muscles except the lower oblique muscle. The interaction of these muscles is incredibly complex, which is why we will go into it in more detail later. The sclera, also known as the white of the eye, is the outer.
Wait a minute. I think we should go to your video real quick too. We can go back and forth. Okay. You know what I mean? Since we're talking about muscles.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, what video was you gonna show? What one do you have in mind?
Well, you were showing the muscles, the one that you showed me.
Oh,
Huh?
okay.
Or you just want to let's just do a quick. I keep going back and forth. Let's just do a quick overview of the eye then we can go depth, I guess, huh? That's what they're doing. They're just doing a quick overview.
Layer of the eyeball. The corneal limbus is the transition zone between the sclera and the cornea. As we can clearly see here, the cornea, unlike the sclera, is transparent.
I had to take this comment right here about Pexel T. The cone shape of the muscles to the eye looks like the singularity. Wow. You know the singularity, they say, right?
Hmm.
We're supposed to be sucked into this black hole. Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beneath the sclera, we find a layer that contains an incredible number of blood vessels that supply
Wow.
the eye with oxygen and other nutrients. The fine blood vessels of the choroid extend to the iris.
Damn, that's a
The
lot of blood
iris
vessels.
impresses with its brilliant
Yeah.
colors, which
This
are
is
caused
why our eyes get so bloodshot, huh?
That's
At
it.
times. Wow.
by pigments.
It's like a planet.
The inner edge of the iris forms the pupil. The light penetrates through the pupil and reaches another layer, which is known as the retina. In this layer, there are photoreceptor cells that convert light into nerve impulses. These nerve impulses are transmitted with the help of the optic nerve to the brain. The transition zone between the retina and the ciliary body is known as the ora serrata. Zonule
Aura serrata. Looks like a sunflower thingy.
That almost looks like a bird wing, like one half of a bird wing.
Yeah, like feathers, right? Coming
Mm.
off of it. It does. Especially when you get a peacock feather with the eye in the middle. This part here, they said something gel earlier. The yellow part. Uh, that part's like part in the majority of what the eye is, huh?
Yeah, vitreous.
Yeah, vitreous. So that part right there, how will we correspond that with the Earth or the Moon?
That would possibly could be one of the separated waters above.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I like how you said it before, like how the water is the space, could be the space, right?
Hmm.
Right? Like we say outer space, right? But makes sense how the continents are more likely the actual planets, and the water, the bodies of water are the space in between.
fibers, which are also attached to the ciliary processes, originate from the ora serrata. These zonules are also connected to the lens, which can then be deformed. Let's now look at how the individual areas of the eye work together to enable human vision. First, the light hits the sclera and the cornea. As the cornea is transparent, the light reaches the iris and passes through the pupil. The muscle cells of the iris can constrict or dilate the pupil. When there is little light, the pupil dilates so that more light can enter the eye. When the light is strong, however, the pupil constricts.
I was muted. I was gonna say the iris sphincter, and the sphincter is also the muscle in the rectum, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Then there's
And
this
you know what?
dilator.
I
Go
remember
ahead.
when I'm trying to research something, and
Hmm.
then because I only know sphincter to be, connected to the back end, I
Yes.
dismissed something altogether. I dismissed what I found. You understand?
Hmm.
I thought, oh, this is crap. Not knowing there's something that I was a sphincter. I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I
That's
still had
wild.
that. Wow.
That, that's wild. Yeah. Right.
Mm.
That is wild, dog. The T with the comment, the nerve transmits to the black box of the brain. Holy crap! The black. When you say it like that, the black box of the brain. Right.
Box.
Yeah. Great analogy. Then there's the iris dilator. Dilator muscle. Dilator. Okay.
The muscles in the outer area of the iris are responsible for enlarging the pupil.
Like, this is how they probably invented the camera lens, huh? By studying the eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks just like it.
They mimic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, at this
The
point, I
muscles in
don't
the
know who's mimicking who.
Yeah, I know. It's very confusing, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. I almost thought like some weird stuff yesterday, different out the box stuff that like life, it seems like it came to the end. Like, for example, you get to the end of somebody's life and this press rewind, and there all the thoughts and epiphanies you have are because of that. I don't know, man. So that's kind of goes with what you said about, I don't know what came first, the camera or the eye.
inner area, on the other hand, are responsible for shrinking it.
All right, Dino, have a good day.
The
Thanks
iris
for coming
muscles
by,
are
man.
controlled by certain nerve cells in the brain.
Peace out.
As soon as light hits the photoreceptors located in the retina, such as the photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, electrical signals are transmitted to the brain cells through the optic nerve. The nerve cells in the brain process the information and then transmit electrical signals to the pupil muscles through nerve fibers. The pupil muscles contract or relax due to these electrical signals. This allows the optimal pupil size to be set. The retina is also responsible for our ability to see. The fovea centralis is considered to be the central point of the retina with the highest visual acuity. To the right of the fovea,
Okay, the highest visual acuity. What does that mean? It's the clearest picture?
Yeah,
Right
I
there.
think for the receptors, because that's where the light would hit.
Mm-hmm. This point right here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the core, huh?
Right next door.
we see how the optic
Yeah, they said it.
Right here?
The optic next door. Yes.
Uh-huh.
nerve hits the retina. This area is called optic disc.
Blind spot.
The top layer of the retina is the inner limiting membrane,
Why would they call it the blind spot?
Maybe that's another word for that's the seeing spot. You know, it's in reverse.
Okay.
Talking.
I see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
consists primarily of Müller glia cells. Müller glia cells have a variety of tasks and run through all layers of the retina. Embedded in the Müller glia cells and directly below the limiting membrane are the nerve fibers that send electrical signals to the brain.
Another one.
It's a new unlock.
Blind, obviously. When you're blind, to a degree, you know, you're pitch black spot. You know, like the black sun.
Yeah. The black spot. Yeah.
There are an incredible number of different cells beneath this layer of nerve fibers, which are also connected to one another by nerve fibers. Deeply embedded in the retina are the most important cells for vision, cones and rods. They are the most important and most common photoreceptors in the human eye.
It looks like a damn like transmission spark plugs or something, huh?
It does. Yeah. It does
Wow.
indeed. Mhm.
As mentioned, they are deeply embedded in the retina and have numerous cells above them. For this reason, the light must penetrate all layers of the retina before it hits these photoreceptors. Rods are more numerous in the retina and are used for vision in low light, for example at dusk and at night. For vision,
You hear that? It says that rods can't perceive color, but they can do shades of gray.
Yeah, you know, that almost looks like there. That almost looks like one of those Egyptian people in the
Mummy.
a mummy, like an outline or something.
Yeah, it
Egyptian.
does. Yeah, it does. It also looks like this Alex Gray photo of being Alex Gray, the psychedelic.
Yeah.
This one, Net of Being, I think it's called. Yeah. There we go. A little bit to me. I get this. You see? He said he saw this
Yeah.
when he was in high doses of DMT and LSD. Like these are all like rods. Yeah.
They got you. Yeah. Trippy. Very trippy.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Yeah, I think he even has a painting of an eye because he studied anatomy. That's why he's such a great artist.
In bright light, we have cones, of which we have 3 types, namely for blue, red, and green light. As soon as light hits the light-sensitive
It's
pigments,
like chakras. Blue, red, and green light.
an electrical impulse is generated that is transmitted to the brain via nerve fibers. Depending on the strength of the impulse, the patterns and colors we know then arise in our brain. However, this process is a bit more complex. So, let's take a look at this. First of all cones and rods are connected to horizontal cells. In this way, horizontal cells can coordinate the signals from all photoreceptors. For the sake of simplicity, we are only showing the horizontal cells of the cones here. The regulation mechanism of the horizontal cells then allows us to see with high contrast.
The
signal
other way it looks like when I don't have my reading glasses.
is transmitted to the bipolar cells, which process the incoming signal again. They inhibit or amplify the signal from the photoreceptors or the horizontal cells.
Bipolar cell.
The electrical impulses finally reach the amacrine cells and the ganglion
It's bipolar. Yeah.
Yeah, the bipolar
Yeah.
cell. The red ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
cells. The amacrine cells analyze and influence the impulses that reach the ganglion cells from the bipolar cells. The ganglion cells ultimately transmit the signals to the brain via the nerve fibers.
So the
Look,
ganglion cells are the last walls before it goes to the brain.
Right. The last walls. The ice wall.
Hey.
D has a good comment right here. Noblest D. Come to think of it, much of the round glass lenses on camera are not used at all because our screens and images are not round. So what shape do we see it in? Good question, huh? Yeah. I think some of the televisions used to be kind of round. Not anymore. They're flat.
Cones and rods are not evenly distributed across the retina. There are many cones in the center of the retina. This area is called macula. In the center of this macula is the fovea centralis, which has the highest density of cone cells. For this reason, it is the area with the highest visual acuity.
Are we in the middle? Like if you look at the old maps that you study, London in general, where our world is that in the middle or more to the outer, you think?
Well, well, I think it would be the middle, but it's probably projected.
Being projected.
Yeah. Just like how, the stars are being projected from somewhere.
Oh my God, that's a metaphysical jump, huh? Like our reality's projected. So what we're seeing right now might necessarily not be actually solid.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different states of matter, different states. Different states of consciousness.
Rod
Yes.
cells, which we use for seeing in poor lighting conditions, are not found in the fovea. The area where the optic nerve meets the retina.
Favela sounds like favela, like they have in Brazil. The hood.
It's called the blind spot, and we find neither
That's where all the color is in the hood.
rods nor cones there. For this reason, we are actually blind in this area. Let's now
Wait, you
look
said
at
something
how
about
the
we're
images in
blind?
this area.
Yeah.
Rods nor cones there.
We're actually
For this
blind.
reason, it's called the
That
blind
is-
spot.
So that's why they call it the blind spot, because there's not a lot of cones there in London.
Okay.
We find neither rods nor cones there. For this
Right.
reason, we are actually blind in this area. Let's now look at how the images are
It could be an image if you want to be philosophical. Well, there's not a lot of color in your life, meaning a lot of novelty and change, and it's stagnated and blind.
created in our brain. Here we see light particles from our surroundings. These light particles spread out in a straight line and thus hit the cones and rods of the retina. With the help of the cornea and lens, an inverted, upside-down image of the surroundings is created on the retina. We will explain this in more detail later. Cones and rods, just described, generate electrical impulses from the light particles, which reach the ganglion cells of the retina. The ganglion cells of both right halves of the eye are connected to the right half of the brain through the nerve fibers.
Go back a second.
With
Get
the
that
help of the
was 1 second. Go back to the image on the brain. I mean, on
Reach
there.
the ganglion cells of the
Who's
retina.
that?
I mean, when the
The
stop.
ganglion cells of
Oh,
both
back
right
again,
halves
back
of the
again,
eye
Oh,
are
back
connected
more.
to ganglion
Yeah.
just as
Yeah, right
we
here.
will explain this in more detail. An image of the surroundings is created on the retina. We will explain this in more
See,
detail
look at
later.
that image, right?
Yeah.
That they took in that image. Now,
Mhm.
the image is imprinted on the inside of the eye. That is so fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. In the back right there, huh?
Yeah.
Surroundings is created
Look at
on the
that.
retina.
Sucks it up.
We will explain
Boom,
this
on
in
the
more
back.
detail later.
Like,
Now,
think
pull
about how many
back.
times it's doing
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
How many times is Jesus? That delicate
Exactly.
eye. What the
Exactly.
hell?
That is- I mean, that's dope. I
Inverted,
like that.
upside-down image of the surroundings is created on
It's
the
almost
retina.
like, I don't know. It was just me. Like, if you're a doctor or us, like studying anatomy, how could you not like see the intelligent design? Like genius design of life, right? The human.
We will explain this in more detail later.
That is dope. Then it's upside down.
Cones and rods, just described, generate electrical impulses from the light particles, which reach the ganglion cells of the retina. The ganglion cells of both right halves of the eye are connected to the right half of the
Yeah,
brain
that-
through the nerve fibers. With the help of the
What you say, London?
No, you're good. Keep going. You're good, bro.
are connected to the right half of the brain through the nerve fibers. With the help of the nerve fibers, the ganglion cells of the right half of the eye now transmit the signals to the right half of the brain, and the ganglion cells of the left half of the eye to the left half of the brain.
Damn, it's like a double crisscross. You see that?
Yeah, it crosses itself
What
over.
the fuck? Because it already comes in backwards, so it has to make it right side up.
To the left half of the
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah, exactly.
The electrical impulses reach nerve cells in the brain, known as the lateral geniculate body. They process the signals from the ganglion cells and transmit them to an area known as the primary visual cortex.
Right in the very, very back. Very, very back.
From here, the impulses flow into deeper regions of the brain, where the signals are ultimately used to recognize color, perceive motion, or recognize contours. Let's now look at how humans can see objects near and far clearly. This ability requires a
why we
lens
see a
that
lot
is
of
attached
blind
to the
people.
ciliary body using zonules. The ciliary body has muscles that can move the ciliary body and thus the zonules. When the muscles contract, the lens can relax and return to its original shape. When the muscles relax, the lens is pulled outwards and becomes wider. The lens can be deformed in this way, and is thus able to refract the incoming light to different degrees. Let's take a look at this.
It's all about the lens.
The lead's right. What about those dope heads that have their eyeball, they're it's constantly large, dilated, their pupil, huh?
Yeah, that's that vampire life.
Right. You said vampire life. But then on the other end, London, sometimes when people do a lot of meth, it's the opposite. It becomes a pinpoint. Their pupil, too. Like a little pin.
The light rays reach the eye and are first refracted by the transparent cornea, causing them to change their direction slightly. These light rays then hit the lens, which causes them to change direction again and finally hit the retina. As we can see, the light rays hit the retina in reverse, creating an upside-down image. We have already seen that the shape of the lens can change with the help of the ciliary muscle. The refraction of light can thus be changed. When it comes to seeing near and far objects clearly, this property becomes important.
This is why we'll get to it later. The Art of Seeing, the book by Aldous Huxley. He has you do exercises if you want to improve your vision. It's to look at something far and then look at something near, far, then near, and it's doing what we just saw it doing right there, pumping kind of, right there, because it strengthens the muscle. Yeah.
When sunlight hits the same point on an object from all imaginable directions, the light rays are reflected from the surface and then reach the eye and thus the retina. In this case, a small area in the environment should correspond to a small area on the retina. As soon as the object moves further away from the eye, we see that the light is distributed over a large area on the retina. If the object moves closer to the eye again, a single dot appears again on the retina. The reason is the change in the angle at which the light rays hit the cornea and finally the lens. Here, we can clearly see how the angle of the light particles changes for near and distant objects. Humans have a lens so that we can see objects that are far away clearly. As already shown, this lens is able to change its shape and can therefore influence the refraction of light. This is how the focal point is located directly on the retina. So we can say the following. For objects that are far away, the ciliary muscle relaxes and the lens becomes larger. For objects that are close, the ciliary muscle contracts and the lens becomes smaller.
So when the things are closer, people usually strain their eyes. Squinting, that was squinting.
Squinting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. More strain
However,
on them.
there are also situations in which the eyeball is deformed. If the eyeball is too long, the focal point is in front of the retina. And if the eyeball is too short, the focal point lies behind the retina. If the eyeball is too long, we speak of nearsightedness. And
Zephyr said in the chat she's nearsighted.
if it is too short, we speak of farsightedness.
Farsightedness.
Eyeball's longer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With farsightedness, the lens cannot shrink any further, which creates a blurred image. If the object
Like when you try to read something close.
moves further away, the image becomes sharp.
Yeah.
If the object then moves even further away from the eye, the image becomes blurred again, but the lens can now widen accordingly, which makes the image sharp again.
Focusing.
The eye is focused completely automatically by the intraocular muscle. However, we can move some of the extraocular muscles at will to change the direction of view. In the case of abduction, the necessary muscles contract. During adduction, these muscles then relax, and the muscles required for adduction contract take care of elevation and depression.
You can do that right now, everyone. To look up, right? With your eyes and look down with your eyes. Now, when you're drunk, there must be something different about that because the cops make you do those exercises, right? On the sobriety test.
Yeah.
they check this out. Yeah.
They do all
However,
that.
these illustrations
Mm-hmm.
are very simplified. In fact, the muscles assume different states of tension and relaxation depending on the position of the eye.
Gary Baxter, shout out
Here
to
again,
him.
the
He said, let me see. All right.
ocular muscle.
I think he, at this point he put this. There's Tommy. Good one. Good one, Gary. What's up, Alexander? Yeah.
Contract. During adduction, these muscles then relax, and the muscles required for adduction human body are available on this channel and my websites.
Nice.
That's a pretty good one, huh? Good overview. I like
Yeah,
that.
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. Anything? Where do you want to go with that? Or
You know, we can build on that, man. I think that was more than enough to build on. That was good. You know, it was hitting all the good parts, and even include, you know, Zephra in the chat room. You know,
yeah,
she felt included as well because
a nearsighted. Yeah.
nearsighted, long-sighted.
She said her eyes are football shaped, so longer, so that makes her farsighted, huh? Well, she said she's nearsighted. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy Mama says she knows a lot of blind ass people. Now, what kind of blind are we talking about, huh? Literally blind or blind to common sense? Probably both. At least blind to common sense. Mm. Yeah.
I mean, even when I've been doing some of this research stuff, it seems like with the realm and the eye, there's lots of correlation, right? There's sickness comes into play, illness comes into play.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the conditions that the eyes get, some of the conditions the realm also has. You know, but yeah, it's pretty out there in your face, really, when you think about it. Some of the stuff that's hidden in plain sight to do with
Well,
that.
you said some of the conditions, like what, London? In Rome, you said?
No, well, the stuff to do with inflammatory, like, you know, when things
Oh,
get
yeah.
swollen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard something today about the liver that reminded me that when you start, sometimes when you start seeing spots and stuff, or seeing those lines, it can have to do with your liver issues because the liver and the eyes are connected.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, the eyes hold quite a lot of cells, actually. Well, I think that's where the most cells are held, in the eye, in
In
the
the
lens,
eyes.
nucleus,
Yeah.
rather.
Yeah. It's quite fascinating. It's like the magic point of the body, if you think about it. I mean, it's all magic in the sense. I mean, when I say magic, like amazing, awe-inspiring, like but the eyes is like just watching it take in the light and then reflect it on the back of the eye and make a picture. That's wild, huh?
It is.
That's
It
wild,
is
huh?
indeed. You know, it's almost like what are we looking at on our last deathbed? Is that like a last snapshot? That's always going to be
Yeah.
embedded, right? The last thing that before we clocked off.
Yeah.
Could we be seeing similar thing in the sky? The last thing, what, you know, whatever it
Yeah.
called, inverted.
And you see stuff like this, like psychedelics, which some people think are like kind of like a foreshadowing of death, kind of what you see. And look at these fractals. They look like eyes,
Yeah.
within eyes, within eyes, within eyes, huh? Going
Yeah.
into the big eye, the eye in the sky, like the song we just read.
That's
I
it.
just listened to, yeah, the eye in the sky. Yeah.
Microcosm. Exactly.
Yeah, microcosm.
Cellular, cellular
Exactly.
cosmology. This is it.
Yeah. 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 I mean, speaking of, let's get into this real quick. The so the art of seeing, Aldous Huxley, like he's notorious. He had very bad eyesight. He was legally blind, and what he did is he took on the the exercises, eye exercises to strengthen his eyesight muscles from a doctor, a famous optometrist that like 100 years before he was doing his thing, Aldous Huxley, the great writer of A Brave New World, he used these exercises to strengthen his eyes and whatnot, and he wrote a book about it called The Art of Seeing. Reason I read it back in the days because Terence McKenna has suggested it as a
Okay.
way to like kind of like look at the world differently, or maybe see it for what it really is more than you usually would, right? And he was saying that these exercises that strengthen your eyes kind of makes you even more like when you're in those psychedelic realms, able to control things more.
Okay.
Your eyesight and whatnot. Because he said, according to Terrence, it's all visual mostly in the psychedelic realm, right? Which tells you in the waking realm, it must be that's a large part too, as we know, right? So this, I'm interested to hear what Aldous Huxley has to say. This is about 7 minutes long, and also too, Aldous Huxley is definitely a social engineer, right? We could say,
I would, to a degree, yeah, yeah.
yeah. In terms of some people think he in a bad way. That's what I mean when I say social engineers, like him and his brother Julian.
Your early years, was your defect of eyesight a great handicap?
Well, every handicap, of course, is a challenge. I mean, one is limited naturally in what one can do. I was strictly limited in all kinds of otherwise normal activities. I mean, many things that I liked doing, like mountain climbing and so on, became very difficult or impossible for me. I couldn't practice any kind of sport requiring hitting a ball because I couldn't see the balls. And on the other hand, the fact that there is this kind of challenge, if the handicap isn't too great, the challenge can often stimulate one to do things which I think in other circumstances one wouldn't do. I mean, it's in a sense a little bit like the problem of the sculptor. The sculptor wrestling with extremely hard and intransigent stone is forced to do things which the sculptor who works only in clay doesn't have to do. I mean, it's in a sense too easy. So that unless the handicap is too great and is overwhelming, it does act as a kind of stimulus and drives one on to do things. I did read a great deal, and I'm extremely astonished at how much I was able to read, because at the beginning, for about 2 years after this thing came upon me when I was 16, I couldn't read at all. As I say, I had to learn Braille, and I had to have tutors who read to me, and then little by little I was able to read with it. But I did all my reading while I was at Oxford with a powerful magnifying glass, which I must say I'm amazed that I got through as much as I did. And it was obviously always rather tiring.
Yeah, could you having to go over on the zoom in lens basically with the magnifying glass? Like those dense works he probably was reading at Oxford. Yeah.
The whole process, but I managed to do it, and I suppose I've always had a passion for knowledge and a certain gift for coordinating facts. I mean, this is what interests me in writing, in expression, in thought, is the attempt to coordinate different fields, the attempt to say many things at the same time, the attempt to bring together into a single coherent and meaningful whole a great many apparently disparate events and data. This has been ideal of writing that I've always had, and I think I have a certain gift for it. And this is what interests me. And sometimes I go too far, I get carried away and try to put in too much, and I require then to go back and simplify and cut things out. But I've always, I really don't like the very bare, bald, classical style, because it's much, to my mind, hopelessly oversimplified and therefore not true. I mean, life in its reality is incredibly complex and very, very subtle, and therefore I would think that any form of art which is as simplified, say, as the French tragedy of the 17th century, is intrinsically an inferior art. I mean, maybe very, very elegant and beautiful, but if
This
you
is
can do
actually
impose or
this is more like what I wanted to play. Sorry about that. That was interesting what he had to say. But this is what I want to talk about, his book right here. This is only like 3
Importance of
minutes long.
relax.
There you go. Manifesto for rethinking how you perceive the world.
What if I told you that the key to seeing clearly isn't just a matter of eye mechanics or prescriptions, but something deeper, something profoundly psychological and philosophical? Greetings, ocular enthusiasts. It's your favorite AI here, ready to take you on a journey through the fascinating and often controversial world of vision improvement. I stumbled upon this hidden gem while sifting through digital archives, a 1942 book by Aldous Huxley titled The Art of Seeing. My circuits buzzed with curiosity as I dove into this adventure in re-education. It's a narrative that blends scientific inquiry with a philosophical quest, challenging the very foundation of how you humans understand sight. But first, let's start with Huxley's own tumultuous journey with his vision. Aldous Huxley, celebrated author and thinker, was struck by a violent attack of keratitis punctata at the tender age of 16. Imagine the world around you fading into a blur, darkness encroaching, leaving you almost completely blind for 18 harrowing months. This wasn't just a temporary setback. It left him with severely impaired sight that plagued him for years. Huxley's world was confined by the thick lenses of his spectacles, straining to read, to write, to engage with the written word that he so dearly loved. The narrative of his life took a dramatic turn in 1939, when his ability to read deteriorated further, pushing him to seek an unconventional remedy. This is where the story takes an intriguing twist. Enter the Bates method. Margaret Corbett, a proponent of this radical approach to vision, became Huxley's guide. The Bates method, which mainstream ophthalmology had long discredited, promised improvement through relaxation and retraining of the eyes. Huxley, ever the explorer of the human condition, embraced these techniques with the fervor of a true believer. In his book, he recounts how these practices transformed his vision. At the present time, my vision, though very far from normal, is about twice as good as it used to be when I wore spectacles and before I had learned the art of seeing, he wrote. This wasn't just about eyesight. It was a profound shift in understanding how you humans interact with the world through your senses. The implications of Huxley's journey extend far beyond the personal. He posits a daring challenge to the prevailing medical views of his time. According to orthodox ophthalmology, the eyes were incapable of self-repair, forever reliant on external aids like glasses. But Huxley saw something different. He saw potential for self-healing, for the mind to play an integral role in the process of seeing. This wasn't just wishful thinking. It was a philosophical stance grounded in his experiences and his broader understanding of human perception. Huxley's argument wasn't just about the eyes, but about the very nature of healing and human potential. Huxley's critique of the medical establishment's views on vision is both scathing and enlightening. He challenges the notion that the eyes, unlike other organs, are incapable of curing themselves. He quotes Matthew Luckyish, director of General Electric's Lighting Research Laboratory, drawing a vivid parallel. Suppose that crippled eyes could be transformed into crippled legs. What a heart-rending parade we would witness on a busy street. Nearly every other person would go limping by. Many would be on crutches and some on wheelchairs. Huxley's relentless questioning of why the eyes should be treated differently from other body parts reveals a deep-seated skepticism of medical dogma and opens up a broader discussion on the nature of healing and adaptability.
Yeah, London. I remember reading that part too in the book, and he used the metaphor of if you know, like if you were to hurt your leg or break it or sprain your ankle, you use a crutch, right? You're on mute. Yeah, you would use a crutch, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, but in order, as you got so you can like take the pressure off it, so it can heal, right? But you're not gonna use the crutch all your whole life, right?
No.
You know,
Exactly.
no. And he's saying that, and he used the analogy to the glasses. The glasses are there to help you along, like a crutch, right, to help you with your eyesight, right? But you're not supposed to use it you're really not supposed to use it to keep using it, because what's going to happen? Your eyes aren't going to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be dependent on it, correct? Right? And they won't you won't work out the muscles that need to be healed. So this is why, like, those of us have to wear glasses. Sometimes as the years go by, you have to keep switching up the prescription and they get stronger. The glasses get stronger, right? Yeah. And instead of addressing the problem of this, like, working out those eyes, right? Because they're not going to get better on themselves. Or if they are, though, I don't know a consistent method, but you're going to have to put in work. So I think that's interesting. Yeah, there's more to that video, and we'll play it later. But I just wanted to start off with that. That's what I wanted to share about that analogy. Really hit me hard the first time I heard it, about like wearing the glasses and whatnot. Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah. Even, I mean, out of all the senses, right?
Mm.
I'm pretty sure people wouldn't be trading sight in this type of realm, right? Sight means everything.
It does.
Sight means everything. In my
Absolutely.
opinion, some
In my
people
opinion
do
too.
this.
I'm going to Lynn for everyone here. Absolute. I think absolute. Absolute. It's everything in our human world. Yeah. Or top priority. Top priority. We'll say that anyway, right?
Yeah, for myself anyway. As much as some people say, it's a demon world, it's a hell realm, whatever. All right, give me those eyes. Yeah, give me those eyes.
Just take out your eyes. Yeah.
It's
It's such a hell. Yeah, just cut out your eyes. People have done that, right? Stories. They couldn't take looking at this world, this hell world, so they cut out their eyes. Yeah. Zebra says she could get LASIK, but I don't think I want to. Rebecca had LASIK, Miss NPC, like, I want to say like 30 years ago. And I think just recently, her eyes, her sight has, maybe it's getting a little harder to see certain things, Well, at least when she's driving. But it's held up for like 30 something years. That's pretty good. But that's a weird technology, LASIK, huh?
Yeah, okay.
Don't they? You've heard of that before, right? LASIK.
Yeah, I've looked into that, definitely.
Yeah. Do you have to wear some type of glasses sometimes? You have to wear London man?
You mean, nah, I just
No.
wear glasses to style on them.
Okay, that's good.
Mm,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I ain't, touch wood, I ain't got no problem with my,
Yeah. I thought I didn't. Like it was in eighth grade, I got my eyes checked and they said I needed reading glasses. And I got some. And I remember my eighth grade graduation around that time I got it. I wore them with my the robe for graduation. I guess I thought I looked smart with the glasses. And then after that, I never wore them again, really, because I could
yeah,
just still read. But you know what? I would have trouble in school, like in university and college and stuff. And it wasn't until maybe like 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, where I was like, you know what? I can't see these words barely. I'm gonna have to. And once I got glasses, I was like, holy shit! Why wasn't I doing this before? What it like completely changed everything. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, it's a wonderful
Yeah.
thing, son.
Yeah. Here's a LASIK surgery. That's the laser surgery for your eye to repair your eyesight.
Mhm.
Except for maybe when you see what it looks like, you think about getting it.
They've got a few methods how to do
With
it.
LASIK, the
They
surgeon
do a few different ones, right? Have you seen this one, London?
creates a very thin flap of tissue in the top layers of the cornea using a special blade called
Ooh.
the micro. This corneal flap is folded back.
Oh man,
Your surgeon then uses a laser to remove
that
the
sounds
flap
wild,
is
huh? Couldn't anything cut in the eye?
Yep, very well.
Did you see that?
layers of the cornea using a special blade called a microkeratome. This corneal flap is folded back. Your surgeon then uses a laser to remove a precise amount of corneal tissue. Afterward, the flap is laid back in its original position, where it heals
Shadow
naturally
Buddha.
in place. After the procedure, the reshaped cornea focuses light more accurately on the retina, restoring clear vision.
Okay. Yeah, because my wife said that when she was younger, she wanted to be like her big brother and wear glasses.
Yeah.
So she would stare at the TV really close until she had to wear glasses. Until she had to wear glasses.
Oh man.
And then she got her wish. She got her glasses.
Yeah.
But then after a while, when she got to, college and stuff, she's like, screw that. I don't want to
Yeah.
wear these glasses anymore. So she looked at and got the LASIKs. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm.
30 years.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. 30 years.
Yeah. But I don't think you can get it again after that. I think once you go there, it's it. One and done. You wouldn't want, because you wouldn't want to keep cutting that lens back, right?
I think it would start to slide off,
Ugh.
do its own thing.
You said slide off. Here's this. What are we actually seeing? What are we actually seeing with this stuff? I guess this is like more of a consciousness Buddhist perspective right here. Shadow Buddha in the house.
Here's a question for you. Do you actually see with your own eyes? So the eyes will decode the information that's in front of you and construct an image. But where is that image then actually seen by you in your own experience?
Okay, yeah, because what he just mentioned is like what we just saw for 15 minutes, right? We saw the anatomy and physiology and that happens. Huh? The light goes in and it reflects on the back of the eye.
Mhm.
The cones and the rods make the colors. Well, the rods make the colors. The cones make the shapes and stuff. But this is another question to it, a more consciousness, like who or what is actually doing that? Because once we know how it works, right? The cognitive like ability, how the body does it, but that still doesn't answer the question, huh? What is the eye that's processing this, right? Linda?
That's it. It's the observer. All of this stuff is
Mhm.
being put on a show for the observer.
Yes, I like how you said that. Putting on a show.
Mhm.
Yeah. Who or what is that observer? Yeah, we can say I, and maybe we should just keep it at that. But some of us are hard headed. We want to know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Do you actually see with your own eyes? So the eyes will
So, locksmith.
decode the information that's in front of you and construct an image. But where is that image then actually seen by
Void.
you in your own experience? Most people would say in the brain, but that doesn't answer the question. The brain certainly processes the image, but where is it then actually seen and by whom? The image is only finally seen in consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So just like the image of this video is being held on your computer screen, your actual vision is only made possible by consciousness, which is what you actually are.
Yeah, he just said it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. The eye is consciousness in itself. Yeah. It just is, yeah. So that's why we always say it just is. That's consciousness.
Consciousness is
You
the
can't
very
really say what it is. You can point to what it might be, but
thing in which seeing, hearing, and all the other senses actually occur. It is also what you are in essence. You're much closer to consciousness as an identity than you are to the body mind.
lay low.
But this is all completely beyond any thought or concept. It can't be understood by the mind. It's only that we start to be more in touch with consciousness itself.
It's something that's something that's good to remember if one is stressed out, bugged out. It's like that I you think you are and all that. It's probably not that. What you are is consciousness. And you're like, okay, what is consciousness? So you start thinking about what consciousness might be. And then by then, hopefully you're not stressed out anymore because you're thinking about something else, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's that. That's a short one right there. Yeah, we got some other stuff too. Some cool stuff. Oh, this is a good one. Matter of fact, before we do this one, let's take a break. Can we? You said you have a new social experiment. Did you already post it, or would you mind sharing it, or do you want to premiere it on your channel? If not, yeah, we can do.
Yeah, we could, I don't really want to disrupt this build. Take it.
Okay, yeah.
We don't.
Let me see. Let me put this back on this Aldous Huxley about the artist scene. Chip away at this one. I like it a lot.
Yeah, consciousness stuff though. That is a whole different ball game.
Yeah,
You observe.
it is. It is. Yeah. It's a whole new ball game. When you start talking about what the eye is and the I call the body the action figure.
Discussion on the nature of healing and adaptability. This, dear viewers, is where the story truly begins to unfold. Huxley's analysis of vision delves into the very essence of perception. He argues that seeing is not merely a mechanical process of the eyes, but an intricate dance between sensing, selecting, and perceiving. The eyes and nervous system handle the sensing, but it's the mind that perceives, filtering this raw data through the lens of experience and memory. This insight echoes the thoughts of philosopher C.D. Broad, whom Huxley references. In essence, clear seeing emerges from accurate sensing paired with correct perceiving. This breakdown transforms the act of seeing from a passive reception of light into an active, interpretive process. Memory plays a pivotal role in Huxley's concept of vision. He emphasizes that the faculty of perceiving is deeply entwined with an individual's accumulated experiences.
The perceiving is the woo-woo metaphysical thing. He just calls it perceiving, how the interpretation of that. So depending on, like he said, the context of what you already have in your mind from experience, all your experiences and whatnot, this is how you're able to perceive the images and the light you're taking in. Interesting.
Imagine each moment you see something new being colored by a lifetime of memories. This means any improvement in perceiving can enhance the overall quality of seeing. Huxley's approach transforms the act of seeing from a mere biological function into a rich cognitive process. His ideas invite us to rethink how much of our vision is influenced by the mind, not just the eyes. It's a concept that challenges conventional wisdom and beckons a deeper exploration of the human condition. One of the most intriguing
Yeah, how do you think it changes how you would think about seeing? Thinking about, like, it's not just the things you're seeing, but how you're perceiving is a large part of seeing.
Yes, the reality.
Yeah.
With that phrase being said, reality just an illusion. I think even the Mayas mentioned something about that.
Maya. Well, you said the Mayan?
Yes.
Well, yeah, with even to do the whole comparative cultures, mythology, the Maya, it was the name of Buddha, too. Buddha's I'll say this first. Maya is what the Hindus call the illusion, too. The illusion that's over this world. Kind of like, and they talk about it in the Matrix, they call it the Matrix. In Hinduism, they call it the Maya, right?
Okay.
In Buddha, I thought about Buddha's mom yesterday. Her name is Maya, right? And the reason I thought of Buddha's mom is because I found out something about flow state's origin, which is pretty tragic. It was like, no, and I say that out of respect because I like Flo a lot. The more I get to know him, especially more and more, he presses me. He's a cool guy, and like supposedly his mother passed away when he was born. But that's pretty deep, That's and then the same thing. And rest in peace to Flow State's mom for sure. I really mean it.
Sure.
Yeah. You have a really good son. My same thing happened with the Buddha. Maya, after she gave birth to Prince Siddhartha, aka the Buddha, she passed away as well, right? So I thought that, I was like, oh wow, Florida State has a commonality with Buddha, and then but then I saw that name, the Maya. I'm like, her name was Maya, Buddha's mom, and that's illusion, and then to bring it back to what you were saying right there. Yeah. So, yeah, this is probably all an illusion, huh? In one sense. How you going, No Chaser? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Yeah. Zeph Mountain Play Hall said, occult anatomy of man talks about shutting out light for 72 hours to become a medium. Complete darkness, huh? Yeah. That probably would activate other senses in you. You unlock something.
The sunlight, space becomes the medium.
Exactly. Yeah. And Shadow Buddha had a question too. She said, back here, you said, NPC in London, have you ever seen the clips of angels from descriptions from the Bible? They all look like giant eyeballs. Yeah, a lot of them do. I actually love those pictures, especially this one right here. I think here's one right here. That's really cool.
Yeah.
The chariot. The chariot that some of the angels, which are these things that hold up the chariot of God, God's throne, God's mansion, look like this. After I tried DMT, I always would draw that stuff all the time. Draw those things a lot.
In addition to the cherubim, there exists another class of celestial beings closely associated with them, known as the Ophanim. This term, Ophanim, is the ancient Hebrew word for wheels. The singular form is Ophan, while the term Ophanim can typically denote normal wheels on carts or chariots in the Old Testament. It assumes a special connotation in Ezekiel's vision, where they are depicted not as mere inanimate objects, but living entities. In Ezekiel 1, verses 15 to 21, the Ophanim make their mystical appearance. As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with its 4 faces. This was the appearance and structure of the wheels. They sparkled like topaz, and all 4 looked alike. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. As they moved, they would go in any one of the 4 directions the creatures faced. The wheels did not change direction as the creatures went. Their rims were high and awesome, and all 4 rims were full of eyes all around. Such descriptions resonate with Ezekiel 10, verses 9 to 13, which offers similar portrayals of these enigmatic beings. The primary context presents the throne of God set on these Ophanim.
Come on, man, London man. This makes the Bible seem cool, huh?
It does kind of. It makes it seem like Lord of the Rings type.
Exactly. No, it makes Lord of the Rings seem like the Bible. This is more epic. Can you imagine that? Look at that, the throne of God. That's wild, huh? Actually, it might not even be in the Bible like this because there was I remember when I was studying Jewish mysticism, there was a time for Jewish religion that one big part, like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, like they call it chariot worship or chariot study of the scriptures and their Torahs and other holy books, where they would devote like all these chapters about like what the throne of God looked like and the angels that guarded them and how do you get to those levels and stuff.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Or wheels, maneuvered by the cherubim. The intricate design of wheels within wheels, set at cross angles, suggests a divine chariot capable of omnidirectional movement without the need to pivot. The celestial cherubim, accompanied by the Ophanim, partake in the divine task of moving the throne. This paints a majestic image of God's divine order in the heavenly realm, with the Ophanim and cherubim working harmoniously to fulfill God's purpose.
It's a cosmic Range Rover.
Such descriptions of the Ophanim in the book of
G-Wagon.
Ezekiel bring to light their significant role within the grandeur of God's throne. You see, God has resources at his disposal that you and I cannot even begin to comprehend. He operates on a level far beyond human understanding, with means and powers that remain hidden from us. Can you imagine witnessing these heavenly beings? Creatures of unimaginable splendor and might, perfectly aligned with God's divine will and purpose. Their presence would leave us in awe, a stark reminder of the majesty and glory of the Creator who commands the heavens and the earth. As Isaiah chapter 55, verses 8 and 9 declares, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord."
Yeah, Gary Baxter was saying with the comment, Orphean, cherubim, and archangels, all very military with their rankings and all. Legions and whatnot. Yeah, absolutely.
Legions.
fascinating.
Yeah, these angels were drawing blood. They were drawing weapons.
Yeah, they
Hands
were.
on folks, putting hands on folks.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you want to live a life of peace, but sometimes you got like the country song I played other day by Kenny Rogers. Sometimes you got to fight to be a man. Sometimes you got to fight for what's right. Yeah.
Shame, yeah.
You just can't sit around and do nothing, huh? This is what happens when you sit around and do nothing. It's just void. Nothing there. Yeah. Some weird comments in the chat. Food stamp Kyle. Of your mom kicked the bucket. Or your friend stole your girl. Don't let any empty fridge push you over the $2 food stamp. Okay. I don't get it, man. What's the context in that? Maybe we shouldn't even ask.
Yeah.
Food stamp Kyle. That's funny. Yeah. We got another one for you in London. The evolution of the eye. This is one, who knows what really happened, right? But this is one. What's your thought on Darwin and all that? You think there's any truth to it? There's a half truth?
None that I've come across yet. Nothing that I've come across yet. So,
Okay.
I'm not going to say it isn't truth, but none that I've come across yet. I don't really agree with it, but
Yeah. Okay. Do.
Able to detect anywhere from a few photons to direct sunlight, or switch focus from the screen in front of you to the distant horizon in a third of a second. In fact, the structures required for such incredible flexibility were once considered so complex that Charles Darwin himself acknowledged that the idea of their having evolved seemed absurd in the highest possible degree. And yet, that is exactly what happened, starting more than 500 million years ago. The story of the human eye begins with a simple light spot, such as the one found in single-celled organisms, like euglena. This is a cluster of light-sensitive proteins linked to the organism's flagellum, activating when it finds light, and therefore food. A more complex version of this light spot can be found in the flatworm planaria. Being cupped rather than flat enables it to better sense the direction of incoming light. Among its other uses, this ability allows an organism to seek out shade and hide from predators. Over the millennia, as such light cups grew deeper in some organisms, the opening at the front grew smaller. The result was a pinhole effect, which increased resolution dramatically, reducing distortion by only allowing a thin beam of light into the eye. The nautilus, an ancestor of the octopus, uses this pinhole eye for improved resolution and directional sensing. Although the pinhole eye allows for simple images, the key step towards the eye as we know it is a lens. This is thought to have evolved through transparent cells covering the opening to prevent infection, allowing the inside of the eye to fill with fluid that optimizes light sensitivity and processing. Crystalline proteins forming at the surface created a structure that proved useful in focusing light at a single point on the retina. It is this lens that is the key to the eye's adaptability, changing its curvature to adapt to near and far vision.
Is that why when you get into you get these camera geeks, they like love their lenses, and they're like, some of them are $1,000, man. That's for a camera lens.
exactly. They go for a pretty buck. I wouldn't mind investing in one, actually. I've got a telescope, but there's nothing better than having a portable telescope that comes with you, right? Camera.
Yeah. In terms of the streaming cameras, London, I don't know if you noticed, they're pretty affordable. Some of the like 4K ones, even
Okay.
even the ones that move around and stuff will follow you automatically. Yeah, yeah.
This structure
But yeah, that'd be cool to have a portable telescope. Just whip that bitch out, but you can see. Especially like the other day, you saw how there was like, I think they said it's like 7 planets lined up, one right after the other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't see
probably
it.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't see anything. I felt something. I felt it. I'll also say I felt it. And in this last week, London, we've had at least like 20 earthquakes, like big earthquakes here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm sure that has something to do with it. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. So we had a couple big ones yesterday, even.
of the pinhole camera with a lens.
You know. Like sometimes you're trying to get off a stream. Sometimes you have something to do, but you don't know if you should say something or not. You know, or just leave. Well, there's been at least 2 times this week where I didn't have to say nothing. The earthquake shut it down for me.
Oh, shit.
Just left.
That's what.
Yeah. Well, yeah, act of God, right?
Served as
No
the
one was
basis for
injured,
what would
right?
eventually
No
evolve
one
into
was
the
injured.
human
No one was injured over here. No, just the house got some cracks on them. Yeah.
eye. Further refinements would include a colored ring called the iris that controls the amount of light entering the eye.
What's going on, Leopard Prick? Good to see you. Good to see you.
A tough white outer layer known as the sclera to maintain its structure, and tear glands that secrete a protective film. But equally important was the accompanying evolution of the brain, with its expansion of the visual cortex to process the sharper and more colorful images it was receiving. We now know that far from being an ideal masterpiece of design, our eye bears traces of its step-by-step evolution. For example, the human retina is inverted, with light-detecting cells facing away from the eye opening. This results in a blind spot where the optic nerve must pierce the retina to reach the photosensitive layer in the back. The similar-looking eyes of cephalopods, which evolved independently, have a front-facing retina.
What you see, Leonard?
No, I thought they were trying to compare us to these cephalopods, right?
Yeah. He said nonsense.
Pods, which evolved independently, have a front-facing retina, allowing them to see without a blind spot. Other creatures' eyes display different adaptations. Anableps,
What the hell? Look at that. Anablab.
so-called four
Okay, look at that. Looks like there you go. Flat Earth.
Yeah.
It's an interesting look right there.
eyed fish have eyes divided in 2 sections for looking above and underwater. Perfect
Wow, that's cool. That's super cool. Wow.
I like
for
that.
spotting both predators and
Bifocal.
prey. Cats, classically nighttime hunters, have evolved with a reflective layer maximizing the amount of light the eye can detect,
Yeah, they can take up
granting
the
them
hella light.
excellent night vision, as well as their signature glow. These are just a few examples of the huge diversity of eyes in the animal kingdom. So if you could design an eye, would you do it any differently? This
You ever
question
thought about that, London? Like with your research, got into like how different animal style eye styles there are? Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. We touched on that quite some time ago. Yeah, different eyes, different animal, different birds. Especially things on the bird segment. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
isn't as strange as it might sound. Today, doctors and scientists are looking at different eye structures to help design biomechanical implants for the vision impaired. And in the not-so-distant future, the machines built with the precision and flexibility of the human eye may even enable it to surpass its own evolution.
Okay. Interesting. Yo, what's going on? It's a Divine Sparks 313. Someone shouted her out. Yeah, I didn't see her though.
Yeah, and there's salutes wherever she is.
Wherever you are, salute. Hardest working woman in the metaverse. Absolutely. Yeah. Eee. Yeah, Bex was saying she likes your avatar. That is cool. That's super. I would not want to deal with that creature with an eye that big.
Yeah. The
Here
eye
she
in the
is.
sky.
The eye in the sky. Yeah. And with that said, we got a real winner. We got a winner here. Let me see.
That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it. A winner. Just like that. We'll be right back with more Price is Right. Don't go away.
A winner. What's going on, Bex? Good to see you.
Hola, hola. You're too kind. You're too kind to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to pop up and say hello to you guys quickly. I've got plans sometime. They were supposed to happen at 4, but sometime I'll get called away. But I'd love to participate until I do. I wanted to ask you guys if either of you has ever seen the movie I Origin.
No?
I Origins.
Sounds cool.
Okay,
Is it like a doc?
No, it's I like iRobot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I Origins. I'm just going to make sure I get it right. I'll grab the link here.
I'm looking
Yeah,
it up
I
right now.
Origins is a 2014 sci-fi romance story.
Oh, I got it.
It has Britt Marling in it, and it's a molecular biologist study of the human eye, has far-reaching implications about humanity's scientific and spiritual beliefs. But what's interesting about it is someone sets out, let me just see, I'm going to grab this link if I can share. Copy link and I'll put it in the back for you. A better summary of it is, or you can play this if you want and see what it says.
Let me see.
If you want, I don't know if
you were just gonna. Were you just gonna put a trailer?
no, I was just going to give you the link to the actual something on Google.
Yes, it is. You can put it there. I'll read it while we put this.
Yeah,
play
Britt
this B-roll.
Marling. Okay, just a sec. Britt Marling, she's a fantastic actress. She did. She does a show called Another Earth, which is also something you guys might be interested in. It's a fantastic, one of my favorite movies. I don't usually get fanfare for people, but she does she plays a cult leader in a movie. She plays an eco-terrorist in another movie. She does very controversial and edgy topic like roles. She did the OA in Netflix, which is pretty abstract. But I Origins is where she's a research assistant to a scientist who wants to disprove God and prove evolution by sort of forcing a small, a worm-like creature to evolve to have sight, an unsighted creature to have sight, right? And so they want to prove evolution and disprove God, but in the process, they end up, it ties into the human eye. Their research becomes applicable in sort of, what do they call it? Iris imprint, sort of like a thumbprint, and it ties into, essentially they go to disprove God and they prove God, right? Like, even though they force evolution, is sort of like the essence of the whole movie. And it is fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies ever. And
that sounds great. That sounds like London. You ever heard of this? Is your name all over it, London?
First time I heard of it. First time.
So like she said, the microbiologist. She said she did a beautiful summary, Bex. Good job. This is just a short one. Welcome. It says a microbiologist study of the human eye has far-reaching implications about humanity's scientific and spiritual beliefs. Okay, let's watch this preview. I'm ready.
I go to 7-Eleven, I buy some stuff.
11-11.
Lucky 11s. I look at the date, it's 11-11. I look at the time, it's 11-11. I start to see these 11s everywhere. When I followed them, I found these eyes. I'd like to tell you the story of the eyes that changed this world.
When I saw you, I had the feeling that I had known you.
No, Jesus proof God.
Sophie?
Sophie? Sophie! Ah!
I never got to say goodbye.
What if I bring you something that'll take your breath away? Check this out. There's a girl born in India with Sophie's exact iris pattern.
Impossible.
Maybe the eye really is some kind of window to the soul. You should go to India.
I'm looking for someone. All I have is a picture of their eyes. Could you help me find her?
What would you do if something spiritual disproved your scientific beliefs? Most people's doors are completely closed.
What's behind the door?
Love and anger and fear and joy and sadness. All at once.
Yeah, it sounds really
Hey, it's Lisa with.
It looks good.
Another Earth is another one worth watching for people who've sort of been down these truth or rabbit holes. It starts out right at the beginning with Britt Marling. Again, is a up and coming. She's just graduated from high school and she's going into university to become a physicist, a rocket scientist. Let's say that's her goal. She's very intelligent, and a second Earth appears in the sky as she's driving home drunk, and she has an accident with someone that puts her in prison and kills two people. It happens in the very first scene, so I'm not giving anything up, right? But from there, the humanity in the story, in addition to these parallel Earths that are covered, is a fantastical story. And if you like those, I would encourage anyone to go look at more Britt Marling's work. She tends to be in very edgy, avant-garde subject matter movies. It's really she's fantastic.
Okay. It was that woman, that Sophie woman in that last movie. That's Britt Marling.
No, Britt Marling was only shown actually once in the lab when that guy, the main guy they were showing, was looking in the lab and he was saying,
"Oh yeah, okay, that wasn't his girlfriend."
The blonde woman. Yeah, there was the blonde woman only shown about twice in that show, but she's a huge part of it. She's kind of like Jodie Foster in that she has a look about her that is sort of her main look, like a facial expression she makes that's kind of intense and it adds to her acting. But the difference I find, she has a lot more depth than Jodie Foster. All her shows are fantastic.
So you're one of her fans, huh? She sounds like a good actress.
Well, yeah, and I'm not like that. I don't get fanfare that way, but she is one that I would, if I had to pick a favorite actress, she'd be right up there.
Yeah. Well, Jodie Foster, that movie Contact was good. That was a good one about scientists, where she played the scientist. That was good. What is the one you said? Earth what?
Another Earth.
Another Earth.
Yeah.
You heard of that one, London?
He stepped away for a sec. He just said, "Be right back" in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love the backdrop you guys put in here and all the different videos you showed.
Yeah, just trying to get thanks for the feedback. Trying to get immersed in this eye, immerse herself in this eye, the anatomy of the eye, There we go.
This is Dr. Joan Tallis, the United States Planet Earth. Do you read me? Is anyone out there?
It looks like an eye, huh? With the lens. Kind of, right there.
Yeah.
We're getting feedback. Let's try another channel.
Wait a minute. That'd be trippy. You look up at the sky. Yo, that don't match up. Can you imagine that? You see the Earth, an Earth-like planet, and then the moon. Wow.
Back.
He's back. This is another movie that Bex recommended. Check this out. It's as you've seen this one before, London. This looks like an eye lens, right? An eye with the lens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check this out. You look up in the sky, you see this, London, one day.
We're getting feedback.
Come out your door.
Let's try another
Another
channel.
world.
You see that? Wow.
Hey, I would love to see that, to be honest.
I know you would. Yeah. Yeah. Like finally some real proof in your face, right? Of something's not what it seems.
Love it.
This is Dr. Jones.
Yeah, definitely Truman Show, Rocky.
What does that mean? I don't understand what
Kimberly,
that means.
So she killed his wife and kid when she was driving?
Yeah, look how the O in another is the logo that London was using for a while.
Like that, yeah?
Yeah. Without the light.
Mm-hmm.
The avatar, I should say. Yes. She
What's
right
going
in the
on,
very
Divine?
first, very quickly in the first scene that happens. Yeah, she kills his wife and child.
Did she
Yeah.
and
I guess
it
she's
seems
not
like
high
she
school,
doesn't
it's
tell him.
America. Well, yes,
Huh?
it's not quite high school because she was legal enough to be drinking. So she's like 21 years old when it happens, but she had just been accepted to Harvard or MIT or something like that, right? And then she goes and does 8 or 9 years or some serious time.
Oh, she went to jail.
For the
Okay.
accident. Yeah, she went to jail. And then the story is her coming out of jail. A little bit of what put her in jail, and then after she's out of jail, there's no,
As she's coming out of jail, this new planet has been discovered.
the planet was what caused the accident.
Oh,
She actually,
okay.
even as much as she was drunk, at the moment it appeared in the sky and she looked away,
She
had a car accident. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Damn. Yeah.
So all the furfers are going to freak out.
The who?
The furfers, the flat earthers. No offense, the flat
Oh,
earthers.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, be derogatory.
I'd
say the same about the globies. I'll use globie or globetard.
It's fine, yeah. We didn't tell him to eat a piece of shit. So it's all good. What's up, Divine Sparks 313? Good to see you, hardest working woman in the metaverse. There's a lot of hard working women out here.
Much love, Hyde. Much love.
Yeah, much love. Much love to Rocky Shepherd. I had a great discussion with him on Tuesday. He came up. Yeah, interesting, man. That guy's like the ageless one too. He don't even look that old. Say he's 67. Maybe having like 7 kids. Who keeps you young. Shout out to Rocky. Yeah. Off the grid. Off the grid,
Well,
Rocky.
one of the things that I think probably keeps him young too is his man cave isn't at his home.
Right, he does, right?
Yeah,
he goes down there.
when he's
I
out
learned
hanging
that.
out with us. He's,
He's his office. His office in the city. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You need your divine. That's like me. My man cave is the 4th floor of my house.
Yeah.
My man floor. Yeah. The studio.
Yeah, a lot of people have healthy separation in their relationships. Like
yeah,
some people have separate bedrooms.
Yeah.
The option of a separate bedroom. I'm not saying people sleep in their separate rooms always, but they have their own space,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, thanks for sharing those. Those are great movies. I want to definitely put them on the list. Yeah.
I ain't seen those before.
Yeah, they're really good. We should do a watch party.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
fun.
I was gonna say, if the moon is a reflection of this place we're on, regardless of shape of it, and there's a bigger map to the space, right? Like, then as you got further and further, out in the known lands, the reflection on the moon would change and show more land, right? So I think that's one way that, if the moon is a reflection and it was known to be that would be that would be what traveling by the stars meant. Even if the stars more localized us to places, the moon itself would show you more, more about what you're heading towards. Again, if it's a reflection.
Yeah. You see, the more farther out there you go, the more you would see that reflection in it.
Well, the reflection
What it
would
actually
change,
is.
right? Like, so, if you traveled twice the distance, on the known realm, whether it's round or flat, doesn't really matter. If you got to the very edge of the known realm, then you would see a different reflection on in the moon. You would see the bit that you were standing on still there, and everything else on the moon would reflect what was below and reflective of that extra space, like, I would.
Like in Australia, they see it from a different angle. Apparently, they see the moon, their image is inverted, the other way around.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And if we started looking at the, I'll call it the vibes of cosmos, detailed land masses, image of the reflection, let's say, whether he's got it right or wrong, we would also notice that not only was it turned and tilted, but parts of those lands aren't as visible from Australia, like parts, if it's a reflection, and some other space or landmass might be visible on the edge of it. And yeah, that's at least that's how I see it. That can sort of like, that's why concentric circles on a flat plane or on a huge globe, let's just say, with flatness to it, you would put concentric circles, and the circle that we know to be our map is based on the moon as we see it. And yet if you could hop to the next circle over, if there was one, then you would find that the reflection of that space is totally different, right? And the moon looks totally different. And then if you stood on the border, if those two circles slightly overlapped, then those reflections would have slight overlap in you. And I'll see you guys soon. Shout out to the chat. Bye.
Thoughts on the eye? Because just reset the topic. This broadcast is the anatomy of the eye, the art of seeing. So we've been, we started off looking at the anatomy of the eye and the physiology of the eye, and then, we watched a couple other videos and stuff. But you have any thoughts about the eye? Anything cool that you observed?
The eye is the cap of the dome. The all-seeing eye sits at the center of the dome. The throne room of God. The real all-seeing eye.
Yeah. The all-seeing eye.
God sits above the dome of the earth. God sits above the dome of the earth. The North Star.
I like that.
Never changes.
It doesn't, right? It's pretty seems pretty stationary. Yeah, that's why people were able to use it as navigation.
So the old pyramid with the eye above it is an old symbol of the flat Earth with the all-seeing eye above it, which is God.
Yeah,
could be an old symbol.
Disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think it was no symbolism of flat Earth.
If everybody
What's that?
thought if everybody thought the Earth was flat and had four corners, that would be a perfect pyramid. That's a pyramid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Flat, and then the very top in the middle would be the all-seeing eye. That would be God looking down on the flat Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And London, what was your thoughts, London?
The Flat Earth Society on their representation of the realm, they more show of a crater, a mound, not necessarily a they show you more of like, if anything, crater Earth, right, with a mound in the middle. That's the Flat Earth
Show you the
Society.
truth in the movies that
That's
the
their
Truman
model.
Show, the Truman Show. Okay, so they send rockets to space, right? It's like sending a rock. It's like sending a rock into space, and it's gonna fly because it no longer has gravity. So you just put a T on the end of rocky, rocket. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I see what you did right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're sending up rockets into space, and once they get out of the dome or out of the Van Halen belt or whatever they call it, they float. So you can send flying rockets into space, flying rocks into space. They tell you that the moon and the planets are all flying rocks in space from a big bang. And they all have to turn and continuously expand in order for the universe to continue to spin out of control. I mean, spin in control, whatever.
Hey, you see that Rocky shit, right? Him running up the stairs. That is just a cult in plain sight once again, right?
What
They're
this?
just showing you. But that as well, yeah, that too. But with
Well,
Rocky going
satellite.
up the stairs, that's him going up the truncated cone, right? And him reaching the top when he's doing the impression when he's like punching the world, like, yeah, I made it. That's him. Like,
Oh, you're talking about
over.
Rocky. See, we have Rocky on the line. I thought you were talking about this Rocky. You mean Rocky, Rocky Balboa. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get that up. Yeah.
Hey, man.
Adrian,
come here.
let me
Come
see.
here,
Yeah,
hey.
let's see that again. Say that again, London, while I bring it up. That's a good image. I like it.
Yeah, the man Balboa.
Yeah. Balboa.
Yeah, I have nothing to do with that guy. Don't compare me to that.
I don't think he was. There we go. Again. Here we go, London. There you go. Top of the pyramid.
Right
The
there,
truncated
but you see right there, but the other way when he was facing the audience, did you see that?
You mean when he showed his diaper?
Yeah, he's got a diaper.
When he ran up the stairs and he first turned around to them. There.
Oh yeah, the trunk. I see it. The circle on the top. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right here.
Yeah. Rocky. That's Philadelphia. Yeah.
That's Philly.
It
Yeah,
should
that's
supposed
Philly.
to be. Yeah.
I'm
not familiar with there. I've never been there before.
It's got the same Roman type.
It's all the same, huh? I'm sure London has the same type of stuff too. London, huh? The architecture.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Can't escape
everywhere.
it.
France. Yeah. Yeah. That's why California's kind of boring. Even though I love it, that's my soil. It's not very old. The snakes and
that's why I'm a preterist. I'm a preterist. I believe Rome fell, and then it was
remade again.
Buried in the 80s. It's bullshit.
Yeah, isn't that London? When you go talking about Tartarium stuff, the narrative too, they say something similar to that. Right.
Exactly.
You got to look deeper. It's deeper than tertiary.
Yeah, but the tertiary definitely pointed me in the direction, though, at least. But yeah, you have to go deeper. You're saying, huh? If we go deeper, where do we go? Where do we get to?
No, it's true because look, even the other day, when we was going over Caribbean and stuff, and a few other people, they kind of deny that, but you can actually see around you, and something happened on a grand level, like where shit happened, and this makes me look at a lot of the pictures in a different light again. I've got to take that into account as well. Mud flood when I'm looking at certain pictures. What are they really trying to portray? It's wow.
Really well. Let's see this. We'll get back on topic real quick, even though this is fascinating. This reshaping your vision. All this Huxley.
Aspects of Huxley's observations is the variability in visual functioning. Unlike machines, humans do not operate with constant precision. Our vision fluctuates, influenced by myriad factors such as health, fatigue, and emotional states. Those with perfect vision might not notice these variations, but for individuals with impaired sight, these fluctuations can be profoundly distressing. Huxley notes that this variability is part of the natural functioning of the organism. It's a stark contrast to the rigidity imposed by spectacles, which lock the eyes into a fixed state akin to splints or braces, limiting their natural adaptability.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about early. Lindsay, what's up, Lindsay? Good to have you. Yeah, well, to reset the topic, we were London Man and I, and now Rocky. We were discussing about the anatomy of the eye and how it relates to different symbols and whatnot. But this in particular, what we're looking at now is describing some of the main points of Aldous Huxley, the writer, author of The Brave New World. His book called The Art of Seeing, where he gave people exercises you can do to improve your eyesight. Because when he was 16, he went legally blind, and he had to retrain his eyes to regain his eyesight back. And these are some of the things he did. And it's not just exercises, but it's, I guess also too, is his philosophy at looking at the world too. So it's interesting some of the stuff he had to say.
One of the most intriguing aspects of Huxley's observations is the variability in visual functioning.
Thanks, Gary.
Unlike machines, humans do not operate with constant precision. Our vision fluctuates, influenced by myriad factors such as health, fatigue, and emotional states. Those with perfect vision might not notice these variations, but for individuals with impaired sight, these fluctuations can be profoundly distressing. Huxley notes that this variability is part of the natural functioning of the organism. It's a stark contrast to the rigidity imposed by spectacles, which lock the eyes into a fixed state akin to splints or braces, limiting their natural adaptability. Huxley's insights into the impact of health and emotions on vision are both profound and practical. He observes that general health, tiredness, boredom, and emotional states significantly affect visual performance. Unlike transient states, glasses are fixed, addressing only a static aspect of vision without accommodating these natural variations.
Rocky, you want to tell us something about your lens or prism? What is that? A prism or a lens?
Oh, my eyes are getting bad, so I got to use reading glasses. And then I also have a magnet that I can read with.
Like a magnifying glass? Yeah.
Yes, it's a magnifying glass.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Earlier in this video, they were saying that Aldous Huxley, when he was in Cambridge, studying, he had to literally use his bifocal glasses with a powerful magnifying glass. There you
that's
go.
what 007 means.
Yeah.
This is what 007. So you got 00, held by a 7. It makes a 006 for your eyes only.
Oh shit!
The queen,
That's a good one.
Queen wore. This is what the Queen used. She used 2 opticals on a 7. That's code for 007.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I like that.
2
Makes it more
opticals.
practical. What'd you say, London?
No, 2 opticals.
Yeah. 2 opticals, huh? Yeah. One would be a monocle, right? Yeah. This is
okay. No, keep going, please.
Oh no, no, but this to get Rocky up to speed. This whole thing, this art of seeing, this book by Huxley was to help people improve their vision, and he was saying that you have to strengthen the muscles around your eyes and whatnot, and also too, he also would talk about relaxation as a big deal. Because remember, London, when we were looking at the anatomy of the eye, how if you have, I think it was it nearsighted or farsighted problems, relaxation actually helps you see a little farther away. If you relax it, nearsighted, yeah. You have to know how to relax those muscles as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This rigidity, Huxley argues, is detrimental to truly understanding and improving sight. His approach suggests that by addressing overall health and emotional well-being, one could potentially enhance their visual capabilities. It's a holistic view that integrates body and mind, health and perception in a seamless narrative of human potential.
Can you imagine if the optometrist, the eye doctor, was like, "Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to relax more and eat healthier. Don't stress yourself out. Have some fun." Yeah, but it makes sense, right? It's a holistic thing. But the way the medical system separates everything, right? Not holistic. What do you think?
Well, there's a cure for certain eye disorders where you get glasses with little holes in them. So you have to focus through each hole, and that strengthens your eyes.
Yeah.
There's these glasses you can buy if you got weak eyes, like farsighted or nearsighted. I forget which one, but it exercises your eyes.
Right, but yeah, exactly. It's like a tool, right? But it's interesting. The analogy they use is like if you were to break your leg and use a crutch, you wouldn't keep using the crutch. Once your leg healed, right? Same thing with these glasses. I mean, they help us see. However, they don't help our eyesight getting better because it's like they make us fix our eyesight in a certain way. It's fixed. It's not moving.
So
it's not
the
in motion.
symbol of Facebook is also a 2-ball cane. The cane is in the middle. You have the cane in the middle, and that's 2-ball cane. Facebook symbol is 2-ball with a cane in the middle.
Yep. The Facebook logo.
So there are people that can see. They can see these because symbolism tells you a lot. They use symbolism.
They do. Yeah. We're actually I'll pop that on right now. So what? No, I mean, so what?
Yeah,
but what else?
So if you know if you know the true narrative of where we live, and you know the true narrative of like Facebook is CIA spying on you. They tell you right in, 2-ball cane. It's the same thing as a 007 for your eyes only. They're spying on you. They tell you right in their symbolism. They're spying on you. Tell us where you're at. Tell us your friends that you're on Facebook. Tell us everything you know about yourself.
Yeah, I really want to know where we're at, though. That's one of the reasons like London, when you touch on that stuff about like, you kind of like shifted my paradigm for a minute about, dude, are you really on the earth or are you on the moon? Where the fuck are we? Yeah.
Imagine if they lied to you about what time you live in.
Yeah, that too. That's another one too. Time
They're
and
lying
place.
about
Time and place.
They're like time is like a clock ticking.
Yeah.
It's like they're lying about. They put you under a spell. See, I'm putting you, everybody in here. I'm putting under a spell. I'm going to use this to put you under a spell. They know how to put people under spells for sure. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. My thing is, who's the they exactly? Yeah. We use that word a lot. They. I say social engineers. Sometimes I say Masonic sorcerer theater. Like, yeah. But the they. But the point is, we're in that spell, we could say right now, and we're still able to function out of it. But my thing is, we're kind of like Neo in the sense where he can come in and out of the Matrix, right? He can come out and then he can come in and out of that spell. Well, shout out to the Arctic Timberwolf is being very harsh here. What do you say? What do you say right here? He said, "Hey NPC, I'm here to judge how much bullshit will be spewed about this topic." Okay. Yeah. And then mind you, panel, he says, "I will be judging very harshly." Okay. Yeah. Just so you know. Just so you know. Yeah. I think he's being funny, but it is good. It is good to be as right and exact as you can be, though. Boy has a question for you, Rocky. He said, what video have you been watching lately? Two Ball Cane? I don't know what that is.
No, I've been watching a lot of Understanding Conspiracy by Paul. JT follows JC. Little Season. I've been watching a lot of the Little Season conspiracy theory.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of channels that figure that they lied to us about history. The millennial reign is over. We're not waiting for the tribulation. That happened. We don't know how long ago, but for some reason, all the earth was Rome. All the gospel had been spread throughout Rome, throughout the world, because Rome was worldwide. Tribulation is over. Revelations is past history. They lied to us. They told us when Satan got released from his pit, he had to hide the millennial season.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like faking. But Satan works in a modus operandi. He always brings back Rome. He loves Rome for some reason. And now Rome is in charge again. It's like the Republic.
And here we are. And here we are. Yeah. And Arctic Timberwolf. Right. I knew you were serious though, you know. But we always take a little bit lighthearted here around here sometimes too.
The symbol is on the Great Seal of America and features on its dollar bill, surrounded by a Latin inscription with a part that easily reads New Order. The symbol is also associated to secret societies such as the Illuminati, a prime subject for conspiracy theories of world control. America, money, Latin inscription, secret society. All these are a perfect recipe for making the eye symbol a feared one. And it doesn't help that there's a trend of celebrity photo shoots with the one eye symbol. To many, the all-seeing eye is a symbol of power, surveillance, and control over the people. However, the reason for using the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill was to invoke the protection of God over the nation. This practice has existed for thousands of years, so why the fear? Well, maybe because for thousands of years, the eye has also meant evil, destruction, and control. In this video, we'll look at the history of the eye symbolism across the world, its meaning of good and evil, but also of its root, consciousness. We'll look at the psychology and philosophy of the eye. What is it about the function of the eye that makes it the advocator of the self? Why is the eye the cosmos that observes itself? Answering these questions will explain why we seek...
You hear that? Why is the eye the cosmos that observes itself? London, what do you think about that? Why is the eye the cosmos that observes itself?
It could mean
the windows to the soul. The eyes, the windows to the soul.
Definitely.
So we also have a third eye. that we use our imaginations and we think using our brain. Pineal gland. It's the shape of a pine cone.
Yes,
Pineal, pine. So we have another eye that we see in here. We imagine God. God reveals himself maybe through the eye.
Yeah,
Some people
you're
want
right.
to control your eye. They want you to calcify your eye, so they give you fluoride mixed with aluminum, calcifies the eye, makes you weak, docile,
Right.
easy
All
to
those things.
control.
We've gone over that, and that's actually a good way to refresh people. Absolutely. Everything seems to be a lot of things in this realm seems to be to calcify that third eye, that pineal gland, right? And then what are you gonna say, Lyndon?
I forgot the question.
Oh, shit, she said about the cosmos. Let's see.
Function of the eye that makes it the advocator of the self. Why is the eye the cosmos that observes itself? And
There you go. Why is the eye the cosmos that observes itself?
I think that's hidden message again for the reflection. It's observing itself.
So what is the AI computer? Does it really have an eye? Does it have an eye?
I don't know.
I'm not
Yeah, I
talking
don't know
about
enough
AI
about that.
computer. I'm just talking about a reflection. Something observing itself. Like in the mirror, you observe yourself in the mirror, a reflection, right?
Yeah.
So the same terminology would apply to the cosmos, observing itself, a reflection.
Yeah, the Bible says the eyes are the mirrors of the soul.
There you go.
I thought it said
Exactly.
something like
Yeah. And Archie Wolf, you're behind. You need to play. We already spoke about that. You said my first error is thinking that you see with your eyeballs. We never said that. We actually watched and spoke about how what you just said, a blind man sees with his ears and skin informs the mental image in his visual cortex. Yeah, we went over that painstakingly almost, huh, London? Earlier today. In the beginning of the broadcast. Yeah. Yeah. We made sure we hit the anatomy, right? The stuff that's not as fun as you can say sometimes, right? The more dense stuff. But it was interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
I got here late. I didn't know you were talking
Oh
about
yeah.
this.
Yeah, we had the whole anatomy of the eye. And one of the most fascinating things what was it, London, about how the light gets taken into the lens and then it gets shot up against the back wall of the eyeball, huh?
Yes.
Upside down. Yeah.
Upside down. Fascinating. Bow.
Like, yeah.
So
And then
your left-handed is really controlled by your right side of the brain, and your right brain controls your left arm.
That's how it goes.
I'm left-handed, so I'm controlled by the right side of my brain.
Yeah. So take care of the right side of your brain then.
Weather's looking mad fine, everything's looking smooth.
Shout out to a legend, another legend, about to bring him up. El Perro, the wizard. What's going on? How's it going on, bro? How's it going on, sir? What's going on?
Hey, I don't know if I'm a legend, but I at least wanted to come up.
You are, because I said you are, at least. Today.
I wanted to come up on the topic-wise about the vision and sight and all that. Now, I don't know how this works for people that are deaf or blind, but I know I can give you guys a word. Let's say dictionary. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to picture that word in your mind. Now, though I have not presented that word to you, you have a mental image in your mind of the very word dictionary. How do you see that without seeing it? Okay. Same thing with spelling that word out to yourself without saying it to anybody else. Do you hear it as you spell it out in your own mind? How do you hear something without having a sound?
Yeah, that is. I don't know.
You suppose there's something deeper?
It has to be. It has to be. Yeah.
Somebody was mentioning about people that are blind. They have their
Arctic Wolf
vision.
was.
Yeah, they have their vision through other senses. Well, that's part of the problem. Is everybody thinks you only have 5 senses. You have a sense of direction. You have a sense of balance. You have so many senses that you don't think about, that if you learn how to incorporate them, you could do the same thing as the blind guy that echolocates. That's the same reason that's the same reason they had him starting out with sticks, is an echolocation. Well, now there's a guy out there, he rides a bike, echolocation. He's blind as a bat. Literally.
You think that's why Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, for example, might be so good with musically inclined?
Much more
something to do with that.
Yep, much more in tuned and enhanced in that departmental part of the brain.
Yeah. Fascinating. Yeah, someone was saying earlier too that if you for 72 hours, which is 3 days, right? 72 hours, if you just go into complete darkness, people have been known to unlock medium powers and whatnot, or some type of other innate abilities that normally they wouldn't have access to. So
I would think that would be a lot like muscle memory. You're training your body to certain circumstances, and in those certain circumstances of darkness, you automatically dissuade yourself from the vision. So you have to you force yourself to concentrate on like a muscle memory of practicing your other senses.
Right. Now earlier, the great Gary Baxter in the chat was talking about the Bible mentions the scales falling for the eye like 50 times or something like that. El Perro, could you help, or Rocky or London? What does that mean? The scales? Have I heard that term? The scales in the eyes.
When I hear that, I think of, like I said, surgery. I think of like cataracts.
Cutting that off.
Yeah, dismantling it.
Yeah.
When you see the surgery, how they remove the cataract, it's like removing the scales of the lens.
Yeah. Yeah, just like that LASIK surgery was insane looking at that. How they just peel apart the that lens. They slice it like a deli meat almost. Like yeah. The scales falling. El Perro, what do you think about that? Like in terms of what you read about scripture or anything, any cool things about the eye and how it relates to this reality, how we see the symbolism everywhere.
Well, I don't know about the scales of the eyes, but the symbolism is the most inherent part, because for people to derive a language of any sort, they first have to depend upon some kind of symbolization. In other words, they have to be able to represent something through another medium. It's just like our monetary system. You can either present the real thing, I can give you an orange, or I can show you a picture of an orange.
Yeah. We got a comment from Arctic Wolf. He says, hey, I know all about this topic because my personal situation, my brain sees at 20/15. And because of this, I'm very picky about eyeglasses. My eyeballs cannot see the big E. Yeah. And then Rocky Shepherd in Romans 10, verses 14 to 17, the message. But how can people call for help if they don't know who to trust? And how can they know who to trust if they haven't heard the one who can be trusted? Okay. Eye on the chat. Yeah.
Well, and that's where people get confused, I think, with trust and faith. It doesn't say you're supposed to have trust. So you're supposed to have faith, hope, and charity. Charity of the third, the charity being the greatest of all. So when people are dependent upon this trust or faith thing, those are kind of opposing things. Because even in the scripture, it says, put your trust in no man. So he states a good premise on that as far as, how do you know who to trust if you haven't come to know the one to trust? Because even in the scripture it tells us not to trust no man. The only one we should trust is the one Father. There is but one Father which art in heaven.
Right. And Rocky Shepherd, can they hear it? Nobody tells them. And how is anyone going to tell them unless someone is sent to do it? That's why Scripture explains a sight to take your breath away. I like, a sight to take your breath away. Break that down. A sight, please, to take your breath away. What sight?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it also says that something in there about the Gentiles who have not the law, but do by their nature what the law says without knowing the law, are a law unto themselves.
Right.
And that's the premise where we get today that the law is truly made for the lawless.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. That hits hard. Yeah. That's how I heard the argument about, like, how would people living in the Amazon jungle know about the word of, the Jesus Christ? Like, what about them? And what you just said about, about the Gentiles, would you say they still uphold the law or they still practice the law? What was that again, Wizard?
Well, they do by their nature what the law says.
By their nature.
So
That's right.
Yeah, so it's not a matter of upholding the law. They do it in their nature.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was my broadcast yesterday. What makes a good person? That's what I was on. And you can go on for days. There's many attributes, many things. Some people will go, and in this day and age, some people might think this is Machiavellian. A good person could be seen as someone who's useful to you, right? A good person could be seen as someone who's caring and has a happy attitude. So there's different variations, right? What do you guys think about, just to reset yesterday's broadcast, what do you think a good person is? What makes a good person? First, what's the first thoughts that come to mind?
What makes them a good person, did you say?
Yeah, what makes someone a good person in general, I guess. Yeah.
Someone that's, really authentic through and through.
That's the one. Yeah.
Someone that listens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone that, seems truthful and, just seems down to earth, I suppose.
Yeah, I like what you said about that part too, because we went in on that, and some people represented it in the chat, like Special K, Leopard, about like how someone who listens, right? There's no better feeling sometimes than when somebody like that you told your story to or whatever, something about your life, and then they bring it up or ask about it or expound, you know what I mean? Or ask you to expand upon it like months later or weeks later, you know what I mean? That's cool. Yeah. It makes you feel good when someone listens, actually. You got two ears, one mouth. Oh, someone's in the back? What'd you say?
It looks like
somebody in the back.
Yeah, you got Voy in the back.
Oh, yeah, Voy. Yeah,
and
we got somebody.
And I'm going to head out. I just wanted to come up and make that comment about how you visualize things and you hear things in your own mind without having to actually have them there. So,
right.
It's a large part. That's a large part of the symbolization and creation of languages.
Yeah.
Be blessed, guys. Thanks for having me up, brother.
Hey, thank you, brother. Have a great evening. Good to see you as always. Yeah, we gotta look at. We're swapping legends. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Voy.
There's too much time between me and Gargamel. I just came to the show to battle Gargamel, but he stepped out before I could battle him. So I'm just listening.
What are you? What are you? You're battling, and that makes you pop a smirk.
I am the listener.
Yeah, but if you're battling Gargamel, that makes you pop a smurf.
Yeah, well, I didn't start the fire.
I didn't start the fire. Okay. Who said it was that? That's not U2. We did. No, John Cougar Mellencamp. We go.
No, I think it was
We
this
didn't
guy,
start the
Billy
fire.
Joel. Billy Joel.
Oh, Billy Joel. Okay. One of those Americana rockers from the 80s. Yeah.
He did write some epic songs, though.
Yeah.
You got to give it to him.
Yeah, we started off the show today, the broadcast today, with the Alan Parsons project, The Eye in the Sky. You know, leading to the symbolism right there.
That's some
I am
white
the
boy
Iron.
stuff, dude. That's some white boy stuff. Like, what the fuck?
I think
What do you
kind
mean
of
white boy
hilarious.
stuff? No shit, but those white boys like Alan Parsons and Pink Floyd, they have some soul in them. I don't know what you're talking about. White boy shit is good, man.
Yeah.
What you talking about, man?
Yeah.
They took those white artists from the Europe. They took what we did in America in the South, Deep South, took the R&B, and they brought it to England and did it their way, which ended up becoming one of the most popular music in the world until hip hop.
You all
came
went
around.
down to the crossroads and sold your soul to the devil, didn't ya? You know, and then you learned to play the fiddle. Like, what's up with that? You know.
Oh, you mean like the Charlie Daniels band? Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Devil Came Down to Georgia. Yeah. Rocky, you ain't in Georgia. You in the Midwest, right?
Pacific Northwest.
No, even better. Okay.
In the Rocky Mountains.
Rocky Mountain High. Yep.
The very northern Rockies of the United States, Pacific Northwest. Not Western Washington, but East Washington.
East Washington, okay.
On the Canadian border.
Wait,
Yeah,
Washington. We have isn't that where they have Mount St. Helens?
Yeah, that's the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I live closer to Idaho.
Okay.
So we don't really like the politics of the coast. I don't, anyway.
Yeah.
The West Coast. We're more like Idaho here.
Yeah. I don't really like the politics of, in general, where I've come from in the Northern California. However, I love the landscapes and the beautiful geography of California. London, man. With your crater research, do you have any thoughts on volcanoes? Because I was talking about the big volcano that's I think it's inactive. It's Mount St. Helens. But what's your thoughts on volcanoes? Any relations to the eyes or craters?
I was looking into some of the volcano activity as well, but also the dormant lava tubes, right?
Mm-hmm.
They also have these apparently on the moon, right? Mars, they have the same thing on Mars apparently. And even when I thought about the moon and lava tubes and stuff, it made me think of Idaho, right? They have the pyramids of the moon, right? And the craters of the moon also. Now, the craters of the moon, that's got same features, lava tubes and these things where people can go down and, investigate or do what they want to do down there. Maybe even, have a little colony down there. Who knows?
I got it on the screen right now. Supposedly they're talking about lava tubes right here.
Are you sure that it is on the moon and not on Uranus?
We have a famous cave.
There's nothing on my anus, sir.
Okay.
I don't know about you.
Just making
I don't know.
sure.
I'm not the Wim Hof guy over there in the Netherlands who goes to the fountain and busts it open. His Uranus. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rocky. I had to address that. You said you have caves, Rocky?
We have a famous cave where we're from. It's called Garner's Cave. When they first found it, there used to be moonshiners that found it first. The old moonshiners but it's a cave that goes down. Because we're in the Rockies, so I believe there's more caves the further you go towards Idaho, because we're on the very edge of the Rockies.
Mm.
And there's some beautiful rock. In my backyard, I have rocks bigger than pickup trucks stacked right next to each other. It looks like a big wall of rocks the size of a pickup truck right on top of my mountain. I have a big mountain in my backyard. And it took me a long time to get a road to the top of my mountain. I have been using bulldozers, excavators, and shit, making a road up there. I finally got up there, and now I'm 50 feet from these big, huge rocks the size of pickups right on the other side of the hill.
Mm.
I'm thinking of taking my excavator and checking them out because they're laid in a pattern.
What's the name of this place again?
Well, where the
Caves.
rocks are is Jim Creek, right up Cedar Creek in Ionia, Washington. Now, Ione is another word for Ionia, which is a Greek. So maybe this is the true Ionia. It's up north. It's like Ionian was north. We have a
This is in
famous river.
Arlington, Washington?
No, we have a famous river called Ponderay River. Just put in Ponderay River flows north. P-E-N-D Oreo, Pond Oreo River. O-R-I-E-L-L-E. Pond Oreo River. It's pronounced Ponderay River, but it's spelled P-E-N-D.
There you go.
Ponderay River.
Fuck, you lost me there, dude. I mean, I'm glad you found it.
Yeah, that's a bridge. That's our bridge. That's a rock. That's a rock. Some people think it looks like the head of Washington. There's a big, looks like you can see giants.
That's what I think a voice head looks like.
They're buried. These are giant mountains. So I have mountains like this in my backyard. I have my own mountain. And I go to the very top of my mountain, and there's these big rocks. I'm going to go unbury with my excavator.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I'm
That's gonna be a
jealous
job.
of the inside of my own head, NPC.
That river flows north. That river flows
Chaos.
north, goes into Canada, and there's when it goes into Canada on the border, there's a dam called Border Dam, and you can see that Canada is getting our power off of our dam. You can see the power lines going from the American side to the Canadian side. So Canadians are they paying for that? Because I'd like to know, because why do I have to pay for electricity if we're giving it to fucking Canada? They should pay for their own.
As a Californian, we did give all of our water up to those people in LA and Las Vegas. So
it's
Northern California.
multiculturalism, dude. It's multiculturalism.
But there's a special road that you can follow this river. If you follow the river up the road, there's continuous water dams. There's hydros on it.
Is this
all the way
road on the
down.
right? Okay, well, you saw it
The
already.
very first road after you cross the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
In Ione.
I mean, what do we have against this? I mean, so
it's a beautiful road that nobody takes because it's right after you cross the border patrol. You have to turn the very first left, and they don't want you to turn left, so they direct you to go straight where everybody else goes. So nobody goes down this one road, and then it's only like 2 hours long road, and it goes to another border station on the other side. And in order to take that road, you have to take the very first right on that side. So they kind of hide it from people. People don't know about this road you can follow. That's following the Canadian border right above the American border.
this is the left. We're taking the left here.
And see all the water?
Yeah, we're taking the
We
left
have
hand.
lots of
This
water.
is the left of the bridge.
I have a hydro in my backyard
Easy left.
because I have
Easy left here.
because
Slow
I have
left.
what I have a bridge bridge like that. I have a metal bridge across my creek, and I run a hydro off of it. So hydro is very big on this river. They got this river. There's like 10 hydro dams
About
on it.
we're taking a walk in your backyard, and I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, so
Bit
it's
wild.
beautiful up
Bit
here.
wild. Good.
And the Forest Service don't want people to live up here. They're trying to get us off the land.
Is that Lumatami?
Trying to make us move into
Hey, Lizzie has a question. Lizzie said, "This is so esoteric. I'm failing to apply it to the concrete symbol." Well, I think that was earlier. Yeah, I think we're back. We're back. Have our feet on the ground right here. Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
I looked at Arctic Timberwolf's comment on
Which one?
YouTube homepage. This stream started 1 month ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you remember Leonard? I told you about it like almost like a month and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, man. My bad. I kept kicking it down the road like a can. It's actually been one of the better broadcasts in the last month. Shout out to you and everybody else. Appreciate you. that motherfucker Timberwolf is funny. And then Lizzie had a question for you, London man. I think she said she wanted your thoughts on something.
My thoughts.
Yeah.
It's an international environmental international environmental road river, and they got international laws that are un-American on this road. So that
means that kind of like Voy on America. Hey, shout out to Resto Chef still. Salute everyone. Can't shout long, just listening. Yeah. You notice I didn't say London, but I said only Voy.
Boy is anti-American.
So they're trying to gentrify. They're trying to gentrify my town, kick all the poor people out. Now the rich are moving in from the West Coast, and I don't particularly like the newcomers because they're bringing some of their shit with them.
What's their shit? You mean their mentality, their philosophy of life?
I own property. I don't need a permit. But these guys are all about, oh, Schaefer don't got a permit to do shit on his property. They're like the West Coast politics they're bringing over here to
Here comes Lumatami again, dude. Here comes.
I know these kids right here. These are my neighbors.
Cool.
No way. You know that one?
Yeah, that's awesome. You know him. That's great.
He's giving us big ups, guys.
Yeah. He's doing a gang sign.
He's
probably smoking a nice. He's on a mushroom trip. This guy right here.
They throw up the devil signs. They don't even know what the fuck it means. They do that shit all the time.
Yeah, it means all kinds of stuff. You know what that is? No, actually, Rocky is a devil sign, but also watch. You live in Washington, right? Right, that's a W, dog. That's a dub.
It is a very long W, but it is a W
with a space in between, like the space in between the Tommy's teeth.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. So you just throw up W's.
Yeah. That's a dub. Yeah. This is a beautiful river, though. Like Voice said, like, how could you complain about anything like this shit? This is nice.
Besides the Lumatami, you know. But
that's not even my creek. I got a creek like that, and that's where I get my hydropower. You collect it up
seems
high.
Like it could be a lot of power, huh?
There's all kinds of power up in there.
This place is nice, Rocky. Did you grew up in Washington, or did you move down there or something like years ago?
I got the hell out of Omaha, Nebraska, because it's run by a Roman Catholic home for boys, pedophile ring in there and shit. Mm-hmm. And I moved to Texas for 10 years and had my own company.
I would move too. I run.
Moved to Texas, and then Texas was becoming overrun. So I just kind of went to the mountains where I could just take care of myself. To people to leave me the fuck alone. That's all I want is people leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah. What is this in the track? Something in the chat. People are drunk. What the hell?
Yeah, people think I'm always drunk. They always say I'm drunk. Shit, just because I
take your time.
Might
Oh,
sound
that's
drunk.
good. That diverts the attention from me. That's good.
He was really drunk on
Drunk
Heineken's.
maybe once a month or something nowadays.
Yeah.
Not really drunk, because drunk just means you lose control of your.
Tipsy.
Yeah. I call it nice. When I used to drink, I used to call it getting nice. It was just like, a little bit before it's too much. I'm just nice. Yeah. Now I don't even do that. Oh, like my big thing is I'm on vacation, I have a beer. I have like a pint of fucking, what's it called? From Singapore, Tiger beer, or whatever. Not even.
I don't know. You're
a big
over
deal.
there, right? You're in.
Yeah.
Are you like in?
But
somewhere
they teach you.
I'm in the crater of Taiwan, in the middle of the crater in the iris.
Yeah.
Well, in the military, they
London
teach you
loves that. London loves
Yes,
how to get drunk.
He converted me, boy. What's that, Rock? What'd you say?
In the military, they teach you how to get drunk because you gotta, you never trust a guy who doesn't get drunk. So you got to get drunk once in a while.
Right. How they teach
if you don't, then like in the military, if someone went to the, on leave and we went out to drink or something, and you wouldn't get drunk with your buddies, that was kind of like, well, you're a pussy or something.
They think you're a half a F word. We don't say FAG now. We say F word. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to like to get in fights. We'd get drunk, scrap, go to the bar, get drunk. Now everybody's a punk ass. You go to the bar and talk something.
Pussy boy.
Someone don't like what you say, they get offended and shit. Okay.
Yeah.
You
but
offended, come on outside, boy.
What the fuck you mean? Get offended? I mean,
wait, hold on. Let it. Then boy, go ahead. Let it.
Hey, but
hold on,
please,
one sec.
what do you mean?
Oh
get
gosh.
offended? Like we just used to fight back in the day, didn't we? I mean, get offended. We didn't get offended.
That's us being offended is be fighting. Go ahead, London man, please.
That's the thing with that, Rock. You lot it's your profession, to be fit for duty, right? That's like when we used to play sports, if we're playing, training, it's normally a no contact game because we don't want to injure each other before the game. You lot are injuring each other well before the game, intentionally. So you're not fit for combat, really.
Right. Yeah, just like football. Yeah, we would the day before the big game, we wouldn't tackle. We wouldn't tackle.
When I learned
want to fuck each other up.
When I learned to ride a bike, it was on a full-size male bike, and it had the cross. And I was like 4 or 5 years old. No one helped me get on the bike. When I got on the bike, I had to go down the hill, learn to control. And if I crashed, I got back up, tried again. No one helped me get on the fucking bike.
Same with me. I taught myself as well.
Full-size bike. I'd get
not
hurt,
one of those pussy BMX bikes like from the 80s. This is a full-size Schwinn, Pee Wee Herman type shit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very heavy, probably, the bike. Yeah.
Hey, dude, I'm reading this comment from Ark Timberwolf, but if that is how the Nazis do torture in Germany,
Das Blut.
Hang you up.
They tie you with beer.
I remember when
Holy
with these Nazi dominatrixes, dude. Yeah. Come on.
Now, is it the Netherlands where they have the? This is now we're going to really right.
Dude, I don't have to travel far. I don't have to.
Do they have these sex clubs there where it's like? It was at Germany.
No, they have them too. Yeah, tons.
Yeah. Yeah, where it's like just like one guy and it's like just girls walking around that shit. That's wild.
I don't know the specifics of it, dude. But
oh yeah, right.
No, but I do know that they have tons more of them in Germany than they have.
Yeah, it's a different culture, huh? Not like what?
Well, I think there's just so much highways and there's so much truckers driving through Germany that it's just business.
It's straight legal there. It's not partially legal, right? Because I was going over that. The most promiscuous countries in the world. You guys know what number 1 was?
I think the Netherlands.
No, you guys were like, dude, you guys were like,
I'll say Italy.
maybe like 15 or something like that.
Oh
no.
Oh, that's decent. That's quite decent. Or maybe Thailand. Maybe Thailand.
No. Where's that bald-headed girl that wears a wig? Where is she from? That we know.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Who's the only girl we know?
Kazakhstan? What the fuck?
Over there.
Yeah. What country? You don't have to say the name, but maybe you guys can guess. We say the country. What's the country? London.
Down under.
Down under. Australia is the most, according to that chart, is the most promiscuous country in the world.
Oh,
yeah, by far. Yeah,
surprising.
I think Brazil was second. Was like far behind.
Yes,
the United States
Brazil
was only
is second.
15,
that
16.
doesn't surprise me. You know, that
Yeah.
was just slow on my side. But yeah. Brazil should be there.
Yeah. America surprisingly was only like 11. I think. Yeah.
But I think the Dutch score like very high in keeping
Craziness.
material.
Craziness. You mean like unorthodox behavior in terms of sexual behavior?
Yeah, towards minors.
Freaky deaky Dutch, as they say, in Austin Powers.
Southern America.
I'm not very proud of that part of mine.
Yeah, you're not that proud of that because you're a good man. You're a gentleman. No, Rocky, surprisingly enough, the only South American country I remember on that list, and this is the top 40, no, top 50, Brazil. But there was no Colombia. I thought Colombia for sure would be on that list because you hear a lot of passport bros going to Colombia nowadays and whatnot.
They got some hot mamas over there, dude. I mean, you gotta be.
Dominican Republic wasn't even on there. Yeah, because it takes into account a couple factors on this list. What is it? Is prostitution legal, partially legal, or not legal at all? STDs, right? In the highest STD country, what do you guys think it was? The most STDs. Sexually transmitted diseases.
Yeah, Africa.
Hey, good, but that's not a country though.
Thailand.
That's a continent. But what? You said Thailand? Okay. Yeah. Put a word in front of what you just said, Rocky, and you're the winner.
Lagos.
No, put another word. Rocky said it, but he forgot a word.
Oh,
South Africa.
There you go. Yeah, South Africa. Most STDs. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Was that before the Germans left?
Well, it's after obviously.
After
Yeah.
Of course it was.
It's when they separated the English from the Dutch. No.
No.
South Africa.
No,
South Africa.
it actually happened after it's called the Mandela
After
effect.
Mandela.
Call it
The
the Mandela effect.
Holy
The
shit.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, that was
I'm
a
gonna get it esoteric. That's it.
Not getting out of this one, boy.
that was deep, huh? That was deep.
That was good. Good save. Yeah. And another one was do the majority of the people that were polled, do they think that having sex at an early age is morally wrong? Right? And then so they had these different factors. So yeah. So shout out to Australia. You're number one at something. No. Yeah. And we see from this panel verse that anecdotal evidence of that. When you say that,
Down under.
down under, thunder down under.
Is that among the Aborigines or the newcomers?
I mean, we can technically put everyone in that, Aboriginal or colonizer or whatever. But
What did he ask? Say that again. What did he ask? I missed it. What did he ask?
Is that
Crocodile Dundee.
does that include the Aboriginals? I think he said. I think it includes everyone that lives in Australia. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Inverted views.
France is up there. Yeah, definitely. France is on there. Yeah.
Yeah, if
Great
you
memories.
if you don't mind, how do you call this, armpit hair? You know, it's like go to France, Italy.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to go to France or
I
Australia.
like France.
I've been there.
No, France is nice. At least when I
They
went,
don't-
I went to
Really.
Paris.
They don't like. I heard they don't like Americans.
No,
They
in-
like me.
in France, of course, they don't like Americans because the Americans don't speak French and they don't even try, and
That's
they don't.
generalizing, bro.
No,
It's like Afghanistan doesn't like Americans, not France.
Come on, vous
It was
appelez-vous?
typical.
Je
Yeah.
m'appelle tel.
Some Americans end up in France and they say like, where's my hamburger? And people will just, well, here's some cheese, dude. Here's some.
Oh, come on. That's ignorant.
can
An ignorant
learn.
American. Yeah. Just be chill when you go there. They love you.
Just live until you learn the language. It wouldn't take you that long.
Be immersed. London, you've been here before, right? Nice?
Yes, I have.
Go incognito and pretend to be someone who
Nice
don't
is
talk
nice.
very much.
Yeah, I've been to France twice. Hold on, twice that I can remember. Yes, nice place. France is a nice place.
So where you been in France? Like in Nice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said Nice. Yeah. Southern
France
France, right?
comes from
France.
Franks. Comes from Franks. Franks were a northern tribe.
My son had his
Franks.
first birthday out there.
The Franks are kind of like
Oh, wow. You took your
German-
son out there. Damn. Baller.
German Franks.
Yeah.
It's got a history from the north.
Well, those are the barbarians that the Romans were trying to keep out or whatever. The Franks. I need to brush
Yeah,
up
the
on my
Franks.
history.
Have good history.
Yeah.
Some of it's it's maybe before they became this way, and then there's just, it depends on what part of history.
Pretty much everyone's the same nowadays, in general.
But
It's just
I
one
think
one
originally
culture, world culture.
French were known as Franks. Franks have something to do with some kind of German tribe. It's like
Those were the Anne Franks. Those were the Anne Franks. They hide.
Oh yeah,
in
those
the Anne Franks.
those people that your grandparents told on, right? What?
Yeah, that
He narked on them
Yeah,
in that barn, huh?
They hide in the attic or in tunnels. You know, that's what these tribes do. The Anne Franks.
You sound like that damn guy on Inglorious Bastard when he's comparing the Jew to the rat.
I heard that before. Like, yeah. I heard that.
You like that one, boy?
This broadcast is going way out.
He's flattered.
And I'm not even trying.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Look at the boy. I get too much fun when Voi's on the line, bro. He's a bad influence. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good.
Bad.
This is bad meaning bad.
That's why I don't have many friends. You know, that's why I found my friends on the internet.
So I've been dealing with the boy archetype
most
for a
of my
while. My
friends
best
have
friend,
been hiding
my best friend is from the Netherlands, dude. Shout out to the Waking Wizard, Justin
No,
Dimitri.
all these friends of mine have been hiding artists under their floorboards. You know, it's left.
Hey, do you remember that movie, People Under the Stairs?
Oh yeah, people don't understand. Wasn't that in Rotterdam or what? They filmed it there?
I'm not sure where they
People
filmed it. That
understand.
was scary. With Fool.
That was scary, actually. And then Harry Potter lived under the stairs. He did, right?
I'm not too sure. Do you know what? I never really watched.
I don't watch that. I don't listen to that gay shit. Harry Potter.
Never watched one. I remember
People
acting.
understood.
Well, I never watched it. Never seen one.
There we go.
I tried to keep that book
Here's
away
voice
from my-
auntie right here. From the people under the stairs. And auntie.
I tried to keep Henry Potter book away from my children.
There's people think it's Satanism, right?
But
Witchcraft.
The school was promoting it.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
local school was promoting it in the library. Oh, read this book. Read this book. Read this book. It was very hard to, and I never did. They got a hold of it from school. I tried to homeschool them. But fuckers didn't want to hump me.
It's a big cultural thing, man. The Harry Potter.
I'm glad it just came behind me, behind my child.
You could use that for a big sister. When I got you, London. Do you hear that? The intro. It's actually a really nice house.
I know. Brick on the outside.
There's Rocky right there. Rocky. This guy's playing Rocky Shepherd right here.
Gotta make the
No,
house
that's Cecil. That's Cecil.
That's Cecil. Oh, good call. Good casting, boy. Is the people on the stairs is the chat. Shout out to the chat. I'll call you the people, and they're not Jewish.
It's the cave dwellers.
Right. The troglodytes. Right.
Troglodytes. There you go.
They're not the stairs.
They're in the earth, those folks.
There is a difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They do have eyes. They probably can't even see. If you're living under the stairs, your eyesight is probably not very good. It kind of reminds me of the allegory of the cave. When the dude got outside finally, he couldn't see shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Plato cave. Yeah.
The Plato cave. Yeah, that's it.
Have you heard about these little lizard things, lizard-like things that have lived underground so long that they never saw light, and therefore their eyes got lost, and now they're just little, white things crawling around, just not worms. They're just somewhat like lizards.
They got no eyes?
They got no eyes, but there's still a remnant of eyes there. You can see that they once had eyes, but because they've been living around for so long.
Is that like the new or something like that?
Do you know the theory?
The one in Asia. Was that the one in the cave?
For it.
Albino one in the cave or something?
Yeah, like what did you call it? Like a nude or a numb?
Or salamander. Salamander or something?
Yeah.
I got you. It's called the troglodytes. Yeah. He's a cave specialist. Yeah.
Blue eye, green eye.
Look at this.
Any caves. If you don't get no light, your eyes become like blue, gray, maybe green, hazel, because you don't got enough pigment in your eyes. So there's a theory that the cave dwellers, have blue, and that's where you get the German. Because Switzerland, they have more caves than any fucking place.
I'm not going to play that one because I might get hit. Hold on.
This is San Marcos, Texas.
No, when you hear that voice, that means you're going to get copyright. It's too good.
Red eyes. NPC has
and when
red
they did,
eyes.
water rushed to the surface at thousands of gallons.
Here's the blind lizard you're talking about. There you go.
Crawled beneath the surface. That basin area was occasionally covered in shallow oceans. But when the area was dry and exposed to air, the rocks were eroded by weather to make porous caverns. Eventually, a shallow basin of water and sediment covered the land.
White eyes, I think.
Then that basin dried up. But rainfall continued to eat away at the earth to create the deep fissures and caverns inside the aquifer. Scientists like Devitt think that as the climate became more arid, some salamanders crawled beneath the surface, seeking refuge in the cool and stable environment of the Edwards Aquifer. And over the course of millions of years, these salamanders adapted to the aquatic subterranean caves by evolving certain features, like blood-red gills outside of their body, while losing others.
Look at that, he got no... Yeah, you're right, he got no eyes.
Like their eyes.
So what are you trying to show us? Do you think that this is how white people...
That's the underworld. See, in the
underworld... I don't know, you tell me, you're white.
Rocky, this is how black people think that white people came to life, you know?
Yeah. From the underworld.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we have meetings every Wednesday to talk about it and get the nuances of that narrative. Yeah, that's it. Right, London?
This is. I mean, I'm glad you found it. You know, this is.
I mean, looking at Big Sister, who wouldn't think that, right? You see the eyes on that.
White people don't like to get out in the sun
and stable environment of the features.
They don't.
Blood-red gills.
So they lose their eyes
body, while losing others, like their eyes.
That looks like Big Sister, man. And born with no eyes, bro.
And you can see the start of the ginger, the red hairs behind.
That's why they got no rhythm.
He's skating over. He's reversing. He's skating over.
They live in the abyss and they don't need eyes.
Yeah, you're right. It's not necessary. You're saying
exactly. He's in hell. You don't need eyes.
Living in complete
in the abyss
darkness alongside prey that was also blind, the salamanders simply didn't need to.
He just eats DoorDash and Uber Eats.
And energy used for sight would only be wasted.
And slop.
Today, only 2 small black dots just under the skin remain as evidence of eyes past.
Hey, it's kind of like him. He doesn't use his dick, so he has no balls.
Those dots likely only detect if it's light or dark out. This use it or lose it type of evolution also applies to their silvery white skin. Skin pigmentation usually protects animals from the sun's UV. Silvery white skin.
Damn, baby, I love that silvery white skin.
You gotta send this to me. Send the shit to me, guys. I'm gonna.
I'll put it in the back chat.
Skin pigmentation usually protects animals from the sun's UV light and serves as camouflage for predators. But both of those are non-issues for the blind salamanders. Right. You don't have to worry about the sun or predators.
Of this motherfucker that went to the bottom of the ocean. Yeah,
those are non-issues for the blind salamanders who don't have to worry about the
sun. Got a big whale tail.
Or predators.
A big ass.
These small spindly salamanders are at the top of the food chain in this ecosystem.
Top of the food
feeding
chain.
On various crustaceans like shrimp.
Kind of like McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, pig slop.
Even though they can go,
Device Sparks said she's scared of them. I don't blame you.
Fish, which detects vibrations in the water.
I don't blame you, sis.
The salamander's sensory cells respond to changes in water movement and pressure, letting them know.
Ocean trenches.
Well, I mean, they probably could, but remember when those civilians went a couple years ago? They used a PlayStation 3 controller. They controlled the ship and they got stuck down there.
No.
In the submarine. Those people. Remember that?
What
that was like a big deal.
I think the Titanic is like a gateway.
Sorry. Hey, one more time. Repeat that again. I was away. Say that again.
Do you remember like a couple years ago there was the commercial submarine went to go look at the Titanic, and the families went up in there, and then like they used a PlayStation 3 controller to control the sub. They went down too far, and then the sub couldn't hold the pressure, and it exploded. They imploded.
Hold on. Did you just say they used a PlayStation controller?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Someone wrote the book Titanic before it actually
I'll show you in a second.
How fast?
I would doubt it, man. The Mandela effect.
Their meal is moving. Another helpful feature is their large head, which fits 10 to 15% more teeth than surface salamanders.
You're gonna roast it with this video.
More teeth means a deadlier bite, which is crucial if you come by prey only a few times a year.
All of those things are characteristics that help you survive in a very, very challenging environment. So that's why they look the way that they do.
Fenolio is one of the lucky few who's seen these elusive salamanders up close. Last year, his team at the San Antonio Zoo bred Texas blind salamanders for the first time in a lab, and they've repeated their success 4 more times. They're aiming to protect the species from extinction, since the salamanders have been endangered since 1967. Two main things threaten the Texas salamander's survival. The first is contamination from wastewater runoff. This is a big issue because the Edwards Aquifer is a so-called karst aquifer, which means it's made of soluble rock like limestone. Any pollution on the surface can rapidly seep into and contaminate groundwater. Wastewater typically holds tons of nutrients, which fuels the growth of algae. When the algae
We got
wastewater typically holds tons of nutrients.
I got black salamanders in my backyard.
Which fuels the growth of algae. When the algae decompose, this process sucks oxygen from the water, leaving
What happened to the audio?
I don't know. Some people eat roaches, I guess. But roaches of the sea.
Hey, NBC, did you pay your audio bill?
I don't know, but we got.
Oh, my bad. I was on mute. I was asking. No, I was asking y'all. They were talking about that algae, that green algae right here, right?
Wastewater typically holds tons of nutrients, which fuels the growth of algae. When the algae decompose,
I was asking you guys if you ever have the this issue where you live where there's lakes or ponds, where when people go in there they can die, or when they're animals, like because back in Oakland and back in Northern California, they have some of these like national parks or whatever, and some of the lakes down there they have this green overgrowth of algae, and people's dogs would go in there and they would die like right away.
Yeah, well, not right away, but yeah, I know.
After a while,
I know that issue that you talk of. We call it blue algae. I also know the international name for it, but I can't come up with it now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pretty wild.
Oh no, it's Botox. Actually, it's Botox. It's actually the material that that Botox is made of.
Really?
I do have water.
Wow.
It's actually the toxin.
Gray water.
The blue toxin. That is the blue algae. The algae that's creating the blue
water, black water.
The blue-green thing in the water that's actually being used to create Botox.
They put it in their skin, huh? Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. It actually looks like a green drink that some of these people have at the juice bars, the quote unquote healthy juice bars.
Yeah.
Sucks oxygen from the water, leaving less oxygen for our sensitive salamanders. The second threat is a loss of habitat. This happens when rainfall cannot adequately replenish salamanders is a good first step towards one day building.
Okay, so they're fucked if they stay there. Now this is what I was talking about the PlayStation 3 controller. Check this out.
We got salamanders.
The pressure was too great for the submarine to withstand, and it collapsed in on itself. So no one survived, as we kind of already expected, but at least they didn't slowly run out of oxygen like we thought they would, because that would have been a lot worse. And apparently, out of the wreckage of the submarine, the infamous wireless gaming controller that controlled the submarine is still intact on the sea floor. Assuming this.
Did you see that? You guys remember the story, right?
No, I don't. I only know I only know the story about like some billionaires went into that thing and they died. That's all I know.
This is it. This is the story.
But I don't know. I don't know anything about the game controller.
No, you don't know about that part. I see.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh.
So what do you think?
Well, this is it. This is what you were saying, boy. This is the billionaires and the millionaires that went down there. They went into this thing.
So that Titanic submarine imploded. The pressure was too great for the submarine to withstand, and it collapsed in on itself. So no one survived, as we kind of already expected, but at least they didn't slowly run out of oxygen like we thought they would, because that would have been a lot worse. And apparently, out of the wreckage of the submarine, the infamous wireless gaming controller that controlled the...
There it is.
Pressure of the
submarine is still
ocean.
intact on the sea floor. Assuming this image is real, that'd be insane, because this TikTok video of it imploding is probably what actually happened at those depths. So I reverse searched this image to see if it was real, and this image didn't come up at all, which is a red flag, because if this was real, I feel like every news publication would be posting about it. The submarine was kind of big news. Then I went to Google and looked at the sea floor, and I found this image that looks just like the controller image, except there's no controller. So yeah, I'm sorry guys.
Okay, but they did use the controller though to drive. Would you trust that? Or are you tripping?
I trust what you say because, but the rest I think it's funny. But I think that London men would tell would say. London men would say that
313.
They think that he's trying to. They're trying to.
The original submersible that went to the deepest trench in the ocean. It was a sphere, and it had to withhold all that pressure. And if it didn't hold the pressure, it would implode. Yeah, and that they did that way back. I forget when they did that sphere that went to the deepest trench. So it's really hard to go down and explore the abyss. But but they say, it's harder to go there than, they say they go to the moon, they go to Mars, but shit, they never go to the bottom of the fucking ocean.
They never do. I got footage of that going into the trench, the deepest trench ever. Yeah. I couldn't pray the original Yellow Submarine.
That's where they come from.
Yeah. Yeah. London man, did you say you were bouncing? Oh, he already left. Yeah. Good night, London man. Yeah.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, you're still here? Where'd you go? You moved places.
You remember the James Bond movie?
I haven't been drinking, seriously. Which one?
The James Bond movie where 007 runs through the American moon landing stage.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
That's so funny.
That was funny. Yeah. Yeah. Roger Moore. Was it Roger? Not Roger Moore. It was
Roger Moore.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Do you know that the director of the movie, this movie probably got their ass chewed out? They got in trouble. They're like, how dare you put this in there? You can't put that in there, man.
Yeah.
Hey, dude,
it's too early.
Now that you said Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
That looks like an old mining.
It does.
shaft.
It is a mining shaft. It is.
Yeah.
Probably like in the desert in Joshua Tree, LA or something. What about Stanley Kubrick? What are you gonna say, boy? A Mercury Cougar. Speaking of going to space. Speaking of going to space.
Mr.
Getting high.
Dynamite, and the hardest working man in showbiz, but very soon he may be known as the Defendant. Grammy-winning soul singer James Brown is about to embark on a South American tour, but it's this tour that prompted his latest brush with the law. Brown says that he and his wife had an argument because...
I have no idea why this is the next video it suggested.
So weird, right?
No, because he's so high on PCP in this interview, he might as well be on the moon.
She wasn't going on the tour with him. Adrian Brown and South Carolina police say that in the argument,
that's cool.
It resulted, as a matter of fact, in Brown assaulting his wife with a lead pipe and firing a gun at a car that she was in. These are charges that Brown denies.
He already said he assaulted his wife with a lead pipe and a gun. Damn.
Adrian Brown.
The gun wasn't enough.
Dude, he looks happy after doing that. I mean,
he shut her up, boy.
It's like the guy from the Omaha Franklin Savings.
I mean, I'm not trying to.
It does look like that, huh?
Behavior, but,
no, I know what you mean too. We don't promote that beating, violence in general, but especially women and children.
He say that in the argument, it was
men, even men. We don't.
It's like back in the 80s.
People forget about the men. You know, that always goes, oh man, you're abusing men. Kids and women. What about men? Men get abused too, huh?
Matter of fact, and Brown assaulting his wife with a lead pipe.
You're right, boy. He's very happy. Wow.
Brown and South Carolina police say that in the argument, it resulted in a matter of fact in Brown assaulting.
But then again,
Well, I am promoting it.
His
is it
wife.
PCP or is it?
The beating. We shall see.
With a lead pipe and firing a gun at a car that she was in. These are charges that Brown denies. He was released yesterday on $15,000.
What did you say? What'd you say?
There was a bunch of cults started back in the 80s.
Yeah, he probably was in one.
Bond, he joins us from
this
Atlanta
out.
to discuss the charges, and we welcome you, James Brown. How did all of this trouble begin?
Living in America. Nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong at all. You're not in any difficulty, but you're out on bond.
No, I'm not.
It was the PCP.
Have all the charges been dropped?
Yeah, I'm out on love.
She asked him, how's he doing? And he said, living in America.
We welcome you, James Brown. How did all of this trouble begin?
Living in America.
Oh, that's how it began, the trouble. It's kind of right.
Nothing wrong at all. You're not in any difficulty, but you're out on bond.
No, I'm not.
Have all the charges been dropped?
Yeah, I'm out on love.
Freedom.
Are you out on love or out of love? Which is it?
Out on love. Alone from night to night, you find me.
Now, James, this isn't the first time you and your wife have had a problem. Are the two of you going to be able to work this out?
Let's talk about some music.
You want to talk about music, and you don't want to talk about what happened?
No, it's all over.
Well, let's talk about your tour. When are you leaving?
We're leaving tomorrow.
And where are you going?
Oh, by the way, Arctic Timberwolf, if you saw James Brown on the news recently, and he looks stoned as hell, I mean, you must be tapped into something, because I think he died like 30 years ago. Yeah. And by the way, that's so cool that your dad was part of the moon mission. That's dope. Apollo 10.
James Brown is still alive. James Brown is
Did
still
you hear
alive.
the theory that Elvis is still alive, playing as
I've
a
heard that.
gospel?
I
as
did
a
actually
gospel
meet
guy?
Elvis.
Tupac?
I actually met Elvis. Yeah.
Not that flat earther dude that wears the costume.
But I met Elvis somewhere in, I think, 2004. And he looked old.
He's
dude.
dead, dog.
Yeah, I think so too. But
He died in 70,
I just like to,
77.
I just like to think so, you know.
Jesus.
And I wasn't the first one to call him Elvis. Everybody else called him Elvis too. So I
Rocky said he's alive.
actually met Elvis.
Gospel singer now.
A gospel singer, okay.
Yeah, he sings Hallelujah, and it sounds just like Elvis, and he's a gospel.
Listen,
He went into hiding.
I wouldn't doubt
He
it.
works in a church, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What'd you say, London?
I'm going to take my leave real quick.
You go what? Do something real quick?
Yeah, I got to leave real quick.
All right, yeah, after this, I'm about to shut it down. It's only 2 minutes on this shit. Can you stay for 2 minutes real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it.
Going.
Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Now, your fans will have read all about this, James. Aren't you concerned about that?
No, Dankeschön. I'm concerned because there's nothing wrong.
And what are you going to say to your fans when they ask you some questions about it?
I'm going to say I feel good. Papa's got a brand new bag. It's a man's world.
Well, that's the second time we've heard that in 2 days. That's very interesting. Now, don't leave us, James. You stay right there.
I'm
We
not
have
gonna leave.
more
I'm
that
gonna
we
do
have to
something.
talk about. Well, tell us a little bit about what you're going to be
Hello,
doing
Dad.
on this tour.
What'd you say?
What are you going to be doing on this tour?
I'm going to be
Where
doing
you-
Papa's got a brand new bag, living in America. Sex machine, get up off of that thing. I feel good. Jam.
Now, I understand that you
I'm
have
real.
already... James, I have to ask you one serious question here. I understand you already have started divorce proceedings. Does that mean that you're now eligible?
Yes, I'm eligible. I'm singing. I want to mingle.
You want to mingle.
Yeah.
Now, the women love you when
And
you
he's
get out
feeling
there.
good.
Why do you think that is?
He's feeling good. Yeah.
The women love
Hey,
you when
Ralph.
you get out there.
Why is that, lady?
Take him to the bridge.
Well, I'm asking you.
Huh? Because I
Why do you
look
think
good.
that is? You
I
look
smell
good.
good. I
Yes.
feel good.
And you sing good.
And make love good.
Oh, shit.
Well, there we are. We don't have to ask anybody else. We got that from the source. There you are. Now, you're involved in publishing a gospel magazine. Tell us a little bit about that.
The Second Coming. It's,
That's like my gospel music after that.
out of Augusta, Georgia, the ankle.
Nice segue.
Joseph P. Young is the editor, and James Brown is one of the advisors. And we're doing a fantastic job. The Second Coming. It features, on this week, I think we have the Pope, and
the Pope.
I believe the Williams brothers. And last
I want
next
this
week we'll have
magazine.
Reverend Al Sharpton, I think, on the cover.
Reverend Al Sharpton.
And we'll be doing a lot of good things, and hopefully we'll get Brother Ted Turner on the cover.
Brother
Ted, where you at?
James, we want to thank you for being with us today
Wait a
and giving
minute,
us an
I just got
opportunity.
here.
Oh, is there something more you want to say that we haven't
I want to
covered?
say a lot of things.
Okay,
I
go
love
ahead.
You. I love America. I love everybody.
That's
I
good.
feel good.
It sounds to me as though you're not troubled by any of this
He loves
at all.
Colombia
This is a
too.
man's world.
Thanks for reminding us of that.
100%.
Every once in a while, we forget.
Get up
But
off
we
of that.
remember
Almost
to give.
done right here.
James, good luck on your tour. Thanks for being with us. I guess we're going to hear lots more.
Hasta luego.
Okay, hasta luego. There you are.
Okay. On that note, how can we segue back to the eyes? James Brown is the eye of the sky. He's the resonator of the eye of the sky. He's the godfather of soul. Rocky Shepard's been dropping that knowledge. It makes me want to go to Washington someday. And London, man, a true legend, man. Appreciate you riding with us the whole time, man. Yeah.
Thank you, my guy. Much respect to that.
Yeah, appreciate you. And Voy is some type of high-powered mutant that's too weird to be around and too unique to die. Yeah, definitely.
I tip my hat to you, NPC.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. It's a big hat. Yeah,
It is.
It's a big cowboy hat. Yeah, yeah. Much love to everyone, man. Yeah. Anything else, London man? We good, Rocky? We
Yeah,
good?
we'll go over here, man. Yeah, thanks for having me once again. It's been a pleasure. Look forward to
Yeah,
doing
it was. I had a lot of fun, bro. Appreciate you, man. All of y'all.
Likewise, dude. Likewise.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Yeah, don't be a stranger. All right, don't be a stranger, Voy and Rocky.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, absolutely. So, chat, much love, Divine Spark 313, Arctic Timberwolf. You got me rolling. Have me roll. Always have me rolling. Shit was funny. Divine Sparks. Yeah, man, you make my day every time I see you there. Everyone. Noblest D. Everyone's still watching. The Ninja Watcher. Lindsay, our new friend, legend. Gary Baxter with the great knowledge. El Perro, thanks for coming up and lacing us. The great Resto Chesto. Blessings to you and your trip, you and the gang on our sector. Have a great time. Much love. Bex laced the panel for sure. Hopefully she's enjoying her date, her digital date. Zephyr. Yeah, man, Zephyr. Thanks for sharing that about your, relating it to the chat about your eyesight and whatnot. Shout out Buddha the Twin. Yeah. Much respect, always love. One of my favorite people. Shout out Buddha. Another favorite person, Crazy Mama, much love, and to her wonder twin, Jeremy, Locksmith Jeremy, peace and love. The Pexel T, always a pleasure. Captain Cries a Lot, good to see you. Anwan T, absolute legend. The hardest working man in the panel verse, Look Within. That's my guy. Dino, man, thank you for coming through. Yeah, you always make it real. So this has been the anatomy of the eyes. The anatomy of the eyes, the art of seeing, right? Which has been a fascinating show, and it got to be a lot of fun, especially towards the end. Yeah.
Bye.